Blog Talk Radio.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Let's Talk Jets Radio. We were doing a show about 15 minutes ago, and this new software that I've been working on for 6 friggin' weeks crapped on me. So, at Talk Jets Radio, Instagram and Twitter, Let's Talk Jets Radio on YouTube. I will try to upload that last 20-minute segment of fire with my good friend Tyrone. So let's bring him on and get right back to it. Tyrone, sorry about that, dude. See, my software failed already.
Already. Nah, man, you know, it is what it is, bro. Like you said, that's why we're doing all these shows, trying to work it out so when things get back to normal, you get back to your regular shows, you won't be having this kind of problem. So, you know, let's jump into it.
Get to it. So, we were getting pretty hot and heated. The one question I have for you is, yeah, I mean, my question for you is this: have the Jets lost any leverage with all these demands?
I think if they don't figure something out soon, it's not gonna be fixable. And I don't think they lost any leverage. I think they have all the leverage. I mean, at the end of the day, I think that as for them wanting to please him and send him where he wants to go, which would be something I definitely wouldn't do. There's no way I'll send him to Dallas. There's no way, because the compensation will be nothing. If you want to give me CeeDee Lamb and your number one pick next year, I'm all for it. They're not going to do that. So I think that, you know, Joe Douglas, he's got some real thinking to do. I mean, you know, me personally, man, I don't know. I don't know what to do. I mean, you know, if you moved him during the offseason, probably was the best move to make. But, you know, I mean, we didn't think we would be here.
Well, then if they knew this was going to happen, they should trade him during the fucking draft. We
Absolutely.
knew this was going to come. This was going to come to a head. We knew this was going to happen, right? We expected this. Like, before the draft, there was rumors: are the Jets going to trade Jamal Adams? What's going to happen? They kept him, and they're going to say, what they say, Tyrone? We're going to talk contract after the draft. Then it was like, well, we got to get the offseason. The second stage of free agency has to go by. Then we'll talk it. They kept pushing it down the line, and guess what? The line is here now. Here we are, and they're not talking contract. And now he's pissed, and now he's throwing a tantrum.
I think the problem is, man, you know, I don't think no one expected him to demand a trade. I think that kind of threw me for a loop today. So I was like, I understand. Okay, he's leveraged.
Yeah, well, leverage. What else can he do?
Yeah,
what else can
exactly.
he do? If he holds out, he's not going to get fined off his ass. It's either create a complete media distraction where they just can't deal with you anymore, or demand a trade. This is like textbook, like, negotiating. This is what you have to do. You have no other place to do it.
Absolutely, but this is the problem, though, Tyson. When you give a list of teams you want to go to, and when you make a statement that I will go to another team if you let me go there, and they don't have to give me a contract, listen, I don't care. If I'm Joe Douglas, I'm filing with the league tomorrow morning on Dallas for tampering charges. This is that statement right there just shows you how much bullshit this is. So, to me,
keep in mind, dude, but keep one thing in mind, and I know this for a fact, that Jerry Jones is enjoying every minute of it, because what Dallas will do now to precipitate this trade is leak stories. Because, you know, half these stories have no fucking source. They're created. We know it in New York media. Like, everybody creates stories. But now Jerry Jones and the Cowboys can play these games. Oh, like, keep in mind, the Calvin Watkins is a Cowboy guy. He's the one saying that Jamal would be willing to be traded without, you know, taking a new contract on. So we got to be careful. Like, we got to everybody has an agenda, dude. There's members in the media that on the New York Jets beat that favor the Jets and take their narrative and spread it out. The Cowboys have the same kind of guys. So we got to be careful with what we believe on both sides of the ball here.
I tell you what I would do. I would trade them to either the Eagles or the Giants. I'm going to trade them to somebody that's going to kick the Cowboys' ass every chance they get. Bruh, But
my question is this. Like, to be honest with you, I don't really give a shit where he wants to go. I don't fucking care where he wants to go. That's not his call. We're going to trade you where I send you. That's the way it works. In the NFL, you want a new contract. If you don't get it, then you're going to tell me where you want to go. We're going to send you to wherever we want. You're going to take it or leave it. That's it.
Exactly.
And then the other thing is, but my question is, if teams know that the Jets are in this spot where their star player doesn't want to be there, will they offer the Jets less? Like, Joe Douglas being in a tough spot. Say, listen, I want 2 first-round picks. And, like, say it's the Baltimore Ravens. So, like, screw you, dude. We know you got a complete problem on your hands. We'll give you a third, or we'll give you a second. Then what happens? Then you have a complete malcontent, and then, like, for some reason, I think the Jets may not get what they want because the situation is going to get so ugly.
Well, I think this though. I think the one thing about Joe Douglas we're not giving him credit for, he trained under Ozzie. He trained under Roseman. He trained under really good.
We're going to see all that testing right now.
He trained under GMs that don't budge. So I don't think Joe Douglas is going to budge at all. I'm pretty sure he probably like, look, Jamal, hey, look, man, I love you, big fella. You know, you can be a Jet, or you can sit your ass at home for a while. That's your options. If you want to draw a line in the sand, that's the line I'm drawing.
But here's your X factor, dude. There's an X factor here. Listen, you're talking about Joe Douglas and what they did. Keep in mind what Joe Douglas also worked with. He also worked with sound, solid ownership. Now, where does Jets ownership come into this? Because let's be honest, you can't trust Chris or Woody Johnson. You never know what the fuck they're going to do. So they can overpower Joe Douglas and say, listen, they can say, listen, we want you to pay this guy, get a deal done. Or they can say, you know what? Because Manish keeps hinting. Manish has been hinting for 3 months now the Jets are penny pinching. They don't have the money to spend. They don't want to spend it. Where does Jets ownership play in this, man? Can they become a factor in this?
Well, the one thing I really believe is true is I do believe they really want to pay Jamal. I really do. I think they want to pay Jamal. I don't think they have a problem with paying him. I think the problem is they're going at their own snail of a pace. And I think that he's at the point where he's tired of hearing about it. And I think Cleveland did some bullshit when Cleveland dropped that they're gonna give Myles Garrett that big contract. I think that he's like, well, why is everyone else talking? I'm not talking. I think that's what it is. I think they want to pay him, but I think that if they're not careful, it's going to get so ugly. Even if he plays with the Jets, I think he'll play with us this season, and he might get traded by the trade deadline. He is not going anywhere before the trade deadline. Everybody needs to get that out your window. He's not going anywhere before then. I don't see that happening because you lose so much value doing that. But to me, you know what I'm saying, if we lost Jamal, it kind of sucks because you're not getting no value for him this year. But at the same time, I'm not taking a second next year. Listen, it's a first or nothing for this conversation to start. Yep. Now, we're getting 2 firsts. That's not going to happen. We might get a first and a third, a first and a second, or first and a player. Something like that will probably happen. We're not, listen, we're way past.
Yeah, but what sucks is the timing of it, dude. The timing of it blows because if you do that, you do it during the draft, and you had those players this year on the field. You trade him now.
I understand that.
For two picks next year, you're losing your best player on defense, your emotional leader on and off the field, and you're with for next year. And then you have a built-in excuse for Adam Gase again. But dude, you know what? I just lost my best player. It's just the timing of this is horrendous. It's terrible.
I understand. It makes no sense. It makes no sense to do that right now. But at the same time, I thought they would pay them by now too. So when we were all talking, having this discussion back in, before the draft about trading Jamal, was like, nah, everyone, on the show was like, nah, don't trade Jamal. We love Jamal. And Joe was probably the only one, you and Joe were probably the only ones that had a slink that explained why trading him during the draft would be a smart move. Now that we're in a situation now that everybody's frustrated because now it's like, okay, if you trade them, you get no help this year, which doesn't help our team at all. It still puts you in a bad way. Don't get me wrong. Now listen, I want to make a statement that you're probably not going to like, but I don't care. I don't, Jamal is a great player, but I could care less if he leaves or not. That's how I feel. I love Jamal, but I love the Jets more. I love what he brings. But if you're going to play
this is negotiating, dude. To me, listen, I respect your take, and we're definitely going to fight over this because he's the best player on the team. He is a guy you build your defense around. The NFL is changing where safeties are becoming a lot more important. The secondaries are becoming a lot more important. Dude, it's about to me, I have this feeling if Joe Douglas would have reached out to him last month and said, listen, we're going to talk contract in August. We're going to sit down at the table and do this and communicate better with him and say, listen, we're going to get this shit done and just something. Give him a glimmer of hope. Give him a vision. Give him something to buy into where he's not going to be pissed off while other guys, these rumored contracts are coming out, Myles Garrett, he's not pissed off. The McCaffrey thing comes out. Maybe it's a matter of communication, dude.
Tyson, you really believe that Joe Douglas didn't make a conversation with him and his agent about paying him?
I have no idea.
I don't believe
nothing surprised me with this team, man. When I think I figured this shit out, I always get smacked in the face. So I don't want to really assume anything, but it just seems like communication, every article you read so far, Rich Cimini, all of them have said the Jets have not made their first proposal to Jamal Adams. So what are you waiting for? They don't want to pay him now. Okay, do you want to pay him next year? Is that your final stance? Then he's going to be pissed off, and then I understand. Or do you want to talk to him in September? What are you waiting for? And it's weird because they don't have anybody else to pay. I understand the whole, I'm so tired of hearing about you can't give a guy a new contract after 3 years. He's eligible for a new one. He wants one. So you can. It's part of the whole CBA. You can. If you don't want to, fine. But who else do you have to pay? Nobody. Sam. That's it. Tyron, there's nobody else on this goddamn team to pay. Yes, you got to replace all these one-year contracts next year, but the superstar all-pro player, this is the only one you have. We just talked about this on Tuesday.
I agree with you and everything you're saying, Tyson. I mean, listen, I'm all for paying him, man. But, like I said, the dirtier the water gets, the dirtier your white shirt going to get. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
When you have situations to where you're trying to, when you have stuff like this that gets out and it's leaked, listen, there's nothing else going on in sports. This has become a huge story.
Always the Jets, man. This was always the goddamn Jets. We can't have nice things. We can never have nice things, ever.
Listen, and then when you're talking about people are going to be mad at Jamal, no, because everyone looks at our organization as not being sound or not being well managed or well owned. So, people are like, well, I couldn't blame. I want to leave the Jets too. So I mean, it's a cluster right now. But at the same time, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I trust Joe Douglas in making the right decision. I mean, and whatever decision he makes. Now, if he gets rid of Jamal for a second or something like that, I'm gonna be pissed.
I don't trust nobody. I don't trust nobody. Joe Douglas has a lot to prove to me. Listen, I'm not giving him. I understand what his resume is, but I also understand what everybody else's resume was too, and that doesn't really mean anything. So there's other factors here. There's the Adam Gase factor. Does he want Jamal back, or is he like, you know what, he's not my kind of guy, which nobody wants to talk about because if you mention Adam Gase, all of a sudden you're a hater. You can't talk facts. Is there a problem between Gase and Jamal Adams? And then what does ownership say? Because they're the one cutting the check. Because they didn't really spend. They didn't have a spending spree this offseason, Tyrone. They kind of, I kept joking around. They bargain basement shop. They didn't throw any big money out other than Fant, which was a bad contract. But there's the Gase factor. There's the what's Joe Douglas' stance, and then what's ownership stance. There's a lot of mitigating factors here.
Well, look at that next season, man. We have $20 million next. We
have plenty of money and nobody to pay.
Exactly. So if you want to pay the man, you can pay the man. I think that we're all speculating on what Joe Douglas is going to do. I mean, everything he said is he wants to pay Jamal. I think if he didn't want to pay Jamal, that wouldn't be a statement you would make out in public. I just don't think that would be the case. I think that the problem is right now they're not giving him the respect he feel he deserves, and I think that part of it I can understand why he's a little ticked off. I mean, I want to be respected, but like I said, man, I lost a lot of respect for Jamal today when he made the statement. If that's a true statement, I said this earlier. If that is a true statement. If he said I would go somewhere else and play and don't got to get a new contract, bro, then you'll sit your ass at home all season.
That's the only thing. Like up until that point, Tyrone, I was completely on his side. And I'm like, because it's like, listen, year by year he's gotten better. He's an all-pro player. He's young. He's outperformed his contract. He's endured a ridiculous amount of losing and nonsense and bullshit and everything else, changing coaches and all this nonsense. He's endured it all. And now it's like, listen, I want to win and I want to get paid. So does he, I was on his side until today, until that report said, you know what, I'll go somewhere else. Just get me the hell out of Dodge. I don't care about my contract. If that's the case, then it's like you're a fraud. You're not the president.
Yeah,
you're not none of this. You're just a guy that's just you don't care. Like you're just but that's the only report that bothers me. Everything else I was fine with. That's negotiating. He's got to use what little leverage he has.
But no, listen, to me that's not negotiating. That's you making a statement of how you really feel. And that's the problem with having Twitter and Instagram and hitting that button before you really think about what you're saying. Listen, I could have dealt with any comment he said today. Y'all want my money. Y'all pay me. Y'all say I'm the guy. Pay me. Treat me like I'm your guy. I can respect all of that. But when you say you'll go somewhere else, like I said, it's a true statement. You'll go somewhere else and don't need a contract? Bro, I'm telling you, man. That right there, you can't come back from that, bro.
Nope.
You can't fix that. That can't be fixed. I don't care how much money you give this man. It's going to be animosity. This is the issue that you're creating. And I didn't know he was such a diva. Don't get me wrong. Get your money. But there's ways to go about it. And his agent,
man, dude, he better be on the phone with his agent doing some damage control. Like, listen, I never said that I'll go somewhere else without a new contract. He's got to, because that's every Jet fan's just like, it's like a middle finger, dude. He gave us all a middle finger. Like, you know what? I'm out. I want to go win somewhere else. Like, after preaching, I'm going to change the culture. I'm part of the solution. I want to build a building block. All that bullshit, you just ruined it with this report. So if I'm the agent, I get out there and be like, listen, we got to control this. I never said that. He didn't need it. Like, you got to find a way, dude, because this is just ethically ugly. This is worse than the Revis stuff.
Yes, bro. And Darrell never said that. You know what I'm saying? Darrell never made these comments.
He loved New York.
Darrell, listen, exactly. Darrell caused the problem, but Darrell didn't do that. So when you have a guy that listen, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man, and this is what I hate to say this because I sound stupid and I sound crazy saying this, but like, man, after that comment, bro, I'm kind of like, bro, the hell with you? Like, that's how I feel, like, bro, like, you know, I've been sitting here screaming and yelling about, yo, pay this man, and you make a statement like that, I mean, you don't give two shits about his fans, bro. You care about yourself, which you should. But if that's the point, then why should Joe Douglas trade you because you complaining, bro? You know what I would do? I would get on Twitter and I'd be like, you know what, Jamal, fuck you. Have a good day, pimp. Sit your punk ass at home. That's it.
Yep.
That's what I would say to him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because now
that's
it's like,
what I would do. I mean, why?
Yeah, I would just, you know what you do? If I'm Joe Douglas, if this is true, and this is the big if, dude. Like, I'm not so sure it's necessarily true because Jerry Jones and Dallas Cowboys can play games now. They can start leaking all kinds of shit and making this 10 times worse than it really is. And then you can do your tampering stuff. And then there's all kinds of problems there. But if the report is true, where he's like, listen, I just want out, man. Like, I want out of this disaster. I'm tired of Gates. I'm tired of all your shit. I want out. We're like, you know what? Unless we get what we want, you're staying here. So get used to it. Yeah. So we don't care what dude, they can be real pricks about it. Like, we don't care what you want. Either meet our demands or you're out. You're gonna be sitting on your ass at home, or you're gonna be sitting on your ass in the locker room at MetLife Stadium. That's it.
And you think this kid is really gonna sit at home, bro, and not not play football and watch other guys?
What I'm saying is that if Joe Douglas has stones, dude, if he really wants to prove his point as a prominent general manager in the NFL, you're gonna be like, you know what, Jamal, we really don't give a shit what you want. We're gonna tell you what we're gonna do. If you want out this bad, we'll get rid of you. And if we don't get what you want, you're gonna be on the field. And if you're not on the field, you're gonna get fined. That's it. It could be like that.
And the funny thing I heard today was, he wants to let his agent, find a trade partner. How could you not find a trade partner but Jamal? Like, stop playing, bro. Listen.
It's all about, dude, it's not about him, it's about the team. The Jets have him for 2 more years. Like, he can't define where he wants to go. They're going to send him where he wants.
No, Tyson. Not 2 more years. They have him for 3 more years.
Three, yeah. Yep, 3.
Yes. So what power do you have? What do you think? You're going to force a trade?
He has no say.
Mad?
He has no say whatsoever. He has no say at all.
Listen, Le'Veon Bell, let me tell you something about this. Is what I want to say about Le'Veon Bell is a real G because he loves football. And for him to sit out and say, look, I'm sitting out for principle. I want my money. Regardless, I got the same contract from the Jets that I would have got from you. You didn't give it to me when I wanted it. I'm sitting my ass out. Can you see Jamal doing that?
No.
Can you see him sitting out? Exactly.
Well, Bell also made money before that, though. You know what I mean? Bell, like, he's made a lot more. He made more money than Jamal did at this point.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, man, I'm just saying, no. Actually, he probably didn't because Jamal was a number of 3 pick in the draft that year, number 6 pick in the draft that year. He got a pretty lucrative contract, bro. Compared to Le'Veon was like a 2nd or 3rd rounder. Le'Veon wasn't the 1st rounder, so he got to his contract fast, his first contract, but Le'Veon didn't get no major money in the beginning. That's why he wanted his money, and I respect Jamal for wanting his money. That's no shape form of arguing about the situation. My only issue I have is that statement, bro, I don't know how you come back from that. I don't care what kind of, your agent can't spin that, bro. That is, listen, there is nothing else going on, protesting and coronavirus and whatever news the football, anybody can get in sports. Exactly. The biggest news for the day was
But, dude, like, you're sitting here like, dude, I'm driving home from work. It was a kind of overcast day. I'm going down the parkway. I'm like, all right, like, what, just kind of unwind from the day. And I'm like, how in the fuck are the Jets the brunt of sports news again? Like, how does this always happen, dude? Like, is it ever like? I mean, the Giants. I mean, let's be honest. The Giants. They seem like they have all kinds of off the field issues with guys getting in trouble. But the Jets, for some reason, dude, they just find a way. It's always us. Why is that?
Yes, I have no. Listen, I get a phone call from my son, and Bobby was like, "Dad, we're trading Jamal." I was like, what are you talking about? So I instantly go to Twitter, right? I was sitting there just scrolling down, like, whoa. So, big shout out to Damon Woody, bro. Brother G, cause, at first D Woods was like, nah, we can't trade Jamal. But when Damien said that comment, bro, he was like,
Yep. Same thing I saw.
Because everyone, listen, everyone was agreeing with Jamal until you read that comic. Then it just froze you. Like, hold on. So you really don't want to be here. You really rather be. And listen, I understand it's not the greatest organization, but at the end of the day, if you're selling this dream that you want to be here, then brother, then two shits keep moving. I mean, listen, I could care less if he leaves at this point, bro. I
still care. Like, I'm like this business aspect of it doesn't bother me one bit. If they sign if he gets like a new 6-year deal tomorrow, I welcome him back and let's go roll. I don't take this shit personally anymore. I've learned that lesson, dude. After seeing all this other bullshit with Revis and Keyshawn and John Abraham and everything, Muhammad Wilkerson, I don't take it personally anymore. Like, it's a business, dude. Like, it's just this is what happens now, and we're used to it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go some calls because we have people on hold and
yes, sir.
Software went to shit. So we're gonna go to Justin. What's up, man?
Oh, what's going on?
Please.
Yo, we got some business to discuss, man. It never ends. I mean, never ends with this team.
So what's your thoughts, man?
So first out, it came out. Me and my dad were driving. We're just talking about this scenario. We see this stuff. Then we're like, all right, talking about the scenarios. I'm trying to explain to him as a Bills fan, the way we truly should be building around a young quarterback. It's the opposite with the Jets. We're going back and forth about Josh Allen and Darnold, whatever. So then we start talking about Adams a little bit. Then we come home, it cools off a little. Then dinner comes home, and then we go, oh, Jamal is requesting a trade, and I go, oh my God, here we go again. This guy has some nerve. I mean, really?
So, Justin, my question to you is this. This is my question to you right now, Justin. So, like, hearing that he wants to go somewhere else and not do a contract, how does that make you feel as a Jet fan?
You know what? To be honest, I'm going to use your words, Tyrone. I tell him, you know what, go kick off Jamal, because you know what? I said it before. I think I was kind of preaching, let's get, draft capital when it's at its highest value. And you know what? That's what I'm pissed off about. Because you know what? We could add another playmaker for Sam. We could add CeeDee Lamb and some before the draft. I mean, this sucks now because his value has gone down. The guy's going to keep talking and talking and talking now. So his value is just going down and down and down in my mind.
Would you trade him? Would you take a second for Jamal right now?
Second? Yeah, right. As you said, sit your ass on the bench or sit your ass home. I'm not taking anything less than Jalen Ramsey. I'm not taking anything less than Jalen Ramsey trade. I mean, come on. You'd be comical to take anything less than that.
So Justin, is there any turning back from this? Do you think the Jets can squash this and make, hey, listen, we want to get you paid. It's going to take a little time. Can they do any damage control with this, or do you think this is a done deal where he's going to be gone? He worked his way out of New York.
Here's the thing that's a little bit tricky. I mean, no one's really talking about it, but, I mean, no one really knows what the Jets – here's the thing. If the Jets really did say they're going to talk about a new contract for him, that's where I have a problem. But do we really know when that – I mean, they said they're going to try to talk to him after the draft. Do we really know if it was going to be during training camp or, right after the draft? We don't really know the details, so it's kind of hard to say exactly if they were really just saying they're going to talk to him or they weren't going to talk to him, because all signs said Joe Douglas wanted to make him a Jet. So they had plans on paying this guy. So him running his mouth saying he wants out really just means he doesn't want to be a Jet, and whether it be he just wants to get paid, which we know it isn't now, or whether he doesn't like Adam Gates or whatever the situation is this guy just needs to wait. I mean, this is just ludicrous now.
So if you were Joe Douglas, I'm sorry, Tyrone. If you're Joe Douglas, Justin, how do you handle this now? As of 9:00 Thursday night, how would you handle this?
To be honest with you, I'm gonna just brush it off and that's it. I'm gonna just act like nothing happened because the dude has no leverage. Oh, okay, Christian McCaffrey got paid. I get it. Myles Garrett, but guess what? This is the problem. We don't pay homegrown talent, but I mean, I would just brush it off like nothing happened. Just Joe Douglas go about his day, and that's it. If the guy wants to get fined, then start finding him. He's not going to show up. That's fine. No big deal.
Justin, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Have a good time.
All right, Justin. You have a good one, bro.
And Tyrone, that's the interesting thing. It seems like everybody's just so turned off by it now. Like, I expected an ugly contract thing. This I predicted it. The whole Revis thing reminded me almost identical to what happened, except for this. To release the list of teams that you want to go to, and then the rumor that he won't take a new deal, it's going to piss off every Jets fan. Because, like, the thing with Jamal Adams was he was like the heartbeat of the team, man. He was like the passion, the pride of the team, where he hated to lose, which pissed some people off. But, like, he gave everything he had, and you kind of you bought into him. Like everybody said, he's our president. He was signing autographs, the prez, all this shit. And it just smacked us all in the face. Like, wait a minute. Are you a fraud? Like, were you just pulling, like, is this all just bullshit now? And now everybody's questioning him. Nobody's questioning the Jets' approach or what they're doing in terms of the contract negotiation. It's all on Jamal, it's crazy, man.
Well, see, I mean, but Tyson, like you said, man, I mean, like, you know, we're a hurt fan base, you know, I mean, because we really bought into what he was saying.
He's really one of our guys. He's a homegrown talent.
Exactly.
Dude, but isn't that what we talked about? Like, that's what drives you crazy. Like, this is like, we talk about it. You build through the draft. We're building through the fucking draft. We drafted him. And how many times you get a guy like at that, his pick, become an all-pro, like a star this fast? And now it's like, all right, contract saga. And the thing I don't like really is people saying, oh, fuck it, just trade him away. Get rid of him. You just trade him away. I understand it. He's a pain in the ass on social media. He's also a game-breaking talent. Tyrone, we just had this conversation on Tuesday. We said, how many game-breaking players do we have on the team? And we were struggling. C.J. Mosley, Jamal Adams, maybe Sam Darnold, maybe Le'Veon Bell. And then we started creating shit to make ourselves feel better. This is one of your best players, dude. Right? But let's be honest. This is one of our best players. So all people saying, fuck him, get rid of him, I understand that. You're going to have to replace him on and off the field, which is not as easy as everybody thinks. This whole just a safety thing is not true. He's more than a safety, whether you want to agree to it or not. But here we are. So we're going to go to the calls. We're going to bring on your good friend, Tyrone. This is one I know you've been waiting for. Mr. Steve, Mr. Steve, what's up, man?
Whoa! Steve!
Oh,
what
man.
up, baby?
What? Oh, my God. First off, I got to say, it's finally a great opportunity to finally get to listen to Tyrone. It's just, Tyrone, I want to let you know, man, I'm one of your biggest fans, man, okay?
What the hell is this shit? Talking Tyrone. I think like I can't tell you. What is
Talk
this, man? What about Tyrone?
Hey, listen,
Talk
I was
that
going to
good
get
stuff, Steve.
I'm gonna hang up on Steve's ass.
Talk that good stuff, Steve.
No, don't hang up on me.
That's a terrible take. Now talk about Tyrone. You want to talk Tyrone? He's on like 6 different podcasts. Go listen to all those too, then.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah,
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate it.
This is some bullshit.
Listen, I appreciate it too. So listen, so here was the thing. When I saw this thing, when Jamal Adams posted this afternoon, it was the biggest thing I was shocked. I mean, listen, I understand he wants to get paid, but you can't post something like what you just posted on Instagram. I'm completely blown away by how he posted. I mean, I understand he wants to get paid, but holy crap.
So, Steve,
how do you handle it, Steve?
So how do you exactly?
You got to pull it out of it, Tyrone.
Honestly, listen, I'm not going to try to curse like the way how you two guys are, because I mean, this is probably, this is the most cursing I've ever done. Let's talk Jets, but it's just. The way of how I need to do this is, I mean, Jamal already lost a lot of respect, and the way about if I was, I would talk with him. I would tell him, listen, if you really, really, really want to be traded, then I'll see what would be available. But here is the other issue. The biggest problem about for teams that want to trade for him, Jamal Adams is going to be very expensive because let's say if we go out and trade him, we have to get a lot of picks back. I mean, we have to at least get a first pick back. Like, listen, I would not trade him for a second-round pick, just a second-rounder.
So
you want
Steve,
just a first round? That's
Dallas, Steve?
Just no, hold on. Frig Dallas. You want just a first-round pick? That's it?
No. I would want a first-round pick and like additional picks as well.
And what if you don't get it?
Well, then if let's say those teams say nope, no deal, then I wouldn't do it. And then as Tyrone said, if Jamal doesn't like it, Jamal has to deal with it.
Okay, so do you think there's any way the Jets can salvage this? Can they find a way to get this remedied and get Jamal a new contract, all this goes away, or do you think the damage is done?
I really don't want the damage to be done. I think, listen, praying that Joe Douglas can get something done, but it's just the way how just Jamal Adams said this whole thing today, it was very unacceptable on his part.
Hold on. What did he say? But what did he say? He didn't. The one report it's a report that's pissing everybody off. His actual comments was defending himself, and the 95% of what he posted was I actually agreed with in terms of his contract. But what you're upset about is not his personal quote. It's a report, right?
Yeah, it's just that I mean, listen, it's just that he's one of those players that wants money, and I know Tyson, you said this before. I mean, the last
every
time
player
we were in
wants
this situation,
money.
I know every player wants money, and here's the thing: listen, Jamal deserves a contract. He deserves his contract.
Wants money.
But but for him to go off like that. Like that on Twitter, on Instagram, it's crazy.
Hold on, Steve, hold on. Steve, listen. There's nothing wrong with him wanting his money. He's earned his money. That's not the issue. Now, the issue I have with is, like I said, the statement he made, he'll go somewhere else and play for his regular contract. So I would ask you this, Steve, if anything bothered you out of that, did it bother you that he made that statement? Like, him wanting his money. Every player wants his money because their money's not guaranteed and they put their life on the line. So that's understandable why he would want his money. So the biggest problem is, Steve, how do you feel about what he said about him willing to go play somewhere else for the same contract he's under right now?
It really pisses me off. It really does. As a passionate New York Jets fan that we all are, and especially me, it pisses me the hell off of how he said that. He's like, okay, I want to go play for KC, Dallas, Seattle, San Francisco. It's like, you're kidding me. And now every team is like, we should try to get after Jamal Adams.
So it's so funny how he said that.
Tyrone,
did you catch that? Tyrone, did you catch that? Like how every passionate fan, especially me, like Steve's patting himself on the back for his takes tonight.
Hey, man, Steve was doing his thing, baby. Listen, Steve was like, look, man, Jamal, I'm not playing with you, Jamal. You hurt my feelings.
So Steve,
here's the thing. One thing I hope that if, let's say, if Joe Douglas says, I'm going to give Jamal Adams a contract, he gets that contract signed, the one thing I would want Jamal Adams to do, and if everything that he posted was really true, is I think he should make a public apology to every single Jet fan. I think he should apologize.
Steve, hell no, he ain't doing that, bro.
What?
Like,
That's
Steve,
what?
Listen, I can ride with you half the way, Steve, but I can't ask for that, Steve. You can't. I'm gonna give you some money. You apologize? No, he's not gonna do that. No, what's gonna end up happening is, like, listen, it'll be all smoothed over if they give him a contract.
Dude, it's gonna be the same thing. Every contract negotiation, it's the same thing. I want out. The minute he gets a new deal, I always wanted to be here. I love New York. This is the place I want to be. I want to retire here. I don't care. But that's the negotiating 101, dude. Like, if he gets a new contract tomorrow, I don't care what he posts on Instagram. Just stay an all-pro player. I don't care.
Yeah, it's just. I just hope that Joe Douglas can work something out with him. I'm hoping that something happens in the right direction. I mean, it would be very heartbroken if he got traded, because then Jet fans would go nuts.
Jet fans are going nuts now, dude. They're half this. I could say 85% of this fan base. They want him out of town tonight. Now, Steve, do you think this is resolved by training camp?
I hope it is. I believe it will, but it's just now for these next few days coming up, I'm gonna have to hear this crap on Twitter. Like everyone's gonna be posting something like every 5 minutes. I'm gonna have to hear this crap now, and it's gonna effing annoy me.
Steve, you said resolve though. So Steve, what is your take on what's gonna happen? What do you see happening, Steve?
I believe before training camp starts that Jamal Adams will get his contract. If he doesn't, it's going to be a holdout.
Cool. Steve, Thank you for calling in the Tyrone Show. We appreciate it, man.
And let me just tell you guys something right now. As much as we love the Jets, it is so effing hard to be a fan right now.
Dude, it's we can't have nice things.
It's always hard to be a Jet. Listen,
dude,
Steve, it's always hard to be a Jet fan, baby.
How about the New York Post picks on the Giants? We always are the New York team that gets picked on. Like it always has to be us. It's bullshit.
Yep. Oh,
Steve,
we got a curse. See this? We broke them.
There you go. Now I curse. Are you happy, Tyson?
Steve, have a good night, man. We appreciate it.
We do a lot of dumb
good night,
stuff.
Tyrone.
So
good talking to you, man.
Hey, have a good one, bro. Take care of yourself. But hey, Tyson.
Yes, sir.
Tyson, listen. One thing I'm gonna say about this, man, was to touch on what Steve was saying is we do a lot of dumb stuff. As an organization. So, I mean, you don't pay your best player, and then you wonder why you have these kind of conversations. People are wondering why we having a show Thursday afternoon is because we have an organization that does stuff like this.
Well, listen, I agree to a point. I think this is the front office holding their ground. They're trying to play. They're trying to get rid of the Mike Maccagnan stench. Mike Maccagnan got worked over for so many bad contracts. They're trying to get rid of that stench and set a new culture, new trend in their front office, set some precedent. But you got to keep everything in play here, where it's like, listen, this is your best player. This is going to be an open saga. And now you're going to have a set of the media who live for this, the New York Jets, that live to pound on this team and create 10 times more chaos. We'll be cranking out articles from tonight till tomorrow morning, just spewing all kinds of nonsense. So I think everybody's at fault here. Jamal's handling it terribly, but I think this has probably been instigated by the Jets not doing anything. So we're going to go to Gangrene David. What's up, man?
What's going on, Gangrene?
My head is spinning in circles from this whole Jamal thing. 3 videos on it today, and I'm just about ready to explode.
So what's your take, man?
It's a hard feeling, man.
Well, I mean, it's gotten crazy. This is the one thing that we as Jets fans were concerned about, and we can go back to the whole social media hints, and I only took it with a grain of salt because you would have thought that eventually there would be a common ground, and that's what the Jets need right now with Jamal. They need common ground on Jamal's future going forward because throughout the last couple of comments that Jamal has posted on Instagram, Jamal's made the case where they have not had any contract talk relatively since the Combine. And Jamal said that he was fully intent on getting extended this offseason. And if you haven't had any sort of talks with your best player since the Combine, no wonder why he's going to be upset. I don't necessarily agree with him complaining on social media, but I understand why Jamal has right to be upset. But Joe Douglas is trying to use his leverage to where he has contractual control with Jamal for another few years, and he wants to pay him on his terms. And Joe Douglas doesn't want to cave in, but Jamal wants his money now. And now this is the one thing that I was concerned about. And I thought this would have happened maybe right around training camp, but this happened sooner than we thought. Jamal requests a trade. And to me, I think this is just a scenario where now Joe Douglas could be under pressure to pull the plug on making a move on what's next with Jamal's future. Because much like us as the fan base, Jamal wants answers in terms of his future. So it's complicated. Like, I don't even know what to think.
Well, David, I have a question for you, David. Let me ask you a question. So, how do you feel about trading Jamal, and what would you trade Jamal for? What would be the least you'd take for Jamal Adams?
Anything less than a first and third round pick would be bare unacceptable. I mean, even just a first round pick alone, because Jamal was a top 10 pick, and has not only lived up to that hype of being a top 10 pick, but he's played beyond those expectations. If you don't get anything back more than a first round pick or even a first and third, I think it would just be I would be unacceptable. But my ideal trade, I would trade him for Yannick Ngakoue straight up, because I'm going to pay a lot of money to any sort of player on defense. I'm much more willing to pay a pass rusher than I'm willing to pay a safety. I know Jamal is good and he can play all those positions on the field.
Now you're talking. Now you're talking. See, no one is bringing this up right here. Listen, if you're going to get rid of Jamal and you're going to have that kind of void on your team, then why not grab something that you really need? That now we're talking. See, my whole problem is. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Tyrone. Continue. Sorry.
No. What I was saying is this, though. I mean, like, we're looking at it. We haven't had a pass rusher in, 20 years. So if you're going to trade Jamal, listen, I mean, I understand
Wait a minute.
the list of teams he want to go
Wait,
to.
time out. Time out. We're going to trade. Wait. We're going to get rid of a guy that wants a big contract and trade a guy that wants a big contract. So now we're going to pay Yannick instead of Jamal. If they're not going to pay, they're not.
Yes.
Wait,
I'd much rather pay Yannick than I'd rather pay Jamal.
Tyson,
plays a much more premium position. Why do you think Myles Garrett is getting a contract extension before Jamal? Because I am much more willing to pay an elite pass rusher than I'm willing to pay a strong safety.
Elite player is an elite player. He's your best player in your team, no matter what position he's still your best player. Doesn't really matter what position it is. We're not the Cleveland Browns. We don't have Beckham and everybody else. He's our best player, and he's our contract problem. So you want to trade him away for another player that. So if you're going to trade for Yannick and get him, and then give him his $20 million a year. Okay.
I'm not saying I want to trade him. I'm answering Tyrone's question. If I'm willing to trade
David's
Jamal for any,
damn, dude, you angry, man?
Dude, I'm fed up, dude. Like, I'm fed up with it. Dude, honestly, I need a drink, man. I mean, I just turned 21. I might just call Conor McGregor and ask him for that bottle of Proper 12 whiskey and legally drink now. No problem.
So, listen, this is the whole point of it, Tyson. Hold on. Listen, I understand what David is saying because I'm saying the same thing. I don't want to trade Jamal. Nobody wants to trade Jamal. But, Tyson, this situation is going to get so ugly, it's not going to be able to be fixed. And after the comment he made today, I don't see how you fix that.
Only going to get worse.
I don't.
Until Joe Douglas
Exactly. I don't
see
how you. I do not see. No, even if he makes a move, I don't see how you fix the situation. I think that what he
you
has
have
done.
You have a conference
really...
call tonight. This isn't hard, dude. The shit's hit the fan now. It's hit the fan completely. We are the focus of the football world right now, and we're a disaster. You get his agent on the phone tonight and say, "Listen, we got to cut the shit now. We're all being embarrassed now. We all look stupid." So how you do it is you talk tonight and get some kind of say, "Listen, we're going to make a trade happen. Stay out of the media."
That's
right?
exactly what
Tyson. But hold on, but listen, you guys agree to trade him right now? No, listen, I don't agree with that. Why trade him?
I'm not saying trade him. I'm saying instead of being a fucking circus right now, cut the media shit out. You call his agent and say, "Listen, man, we're going to negotiate with you. We're going to figure out our next step. Cut the shit with the media. Like, let's stop acting like idiots here. We're just making everybody look stupid because you know what? If you want to trade him, having this circus-like atmosphere, you're taking away his value. Because now teams know that he doesn't want to be here, and they're not going to give you what you want. So have the meeting, have the call tonight, have a common ground on both sides, and move on. And get ownership involved, too, and see what their stance is.
Exactly. Much like the fans, Jamal wants answers. Because as of right now, Jamal's future in the NFL is unclear. And I stated in my video earlier today, if I'm Joe Douglas, I'm getting on the phone with Jamal's agent, and I'm finding a middle ground in terms of what his future is going to be going forward. If I'm Joe Douglas, I'm calling Jamal and I'm saying, "Listen, Jamal, I'd like to discuss your future with you in the NFL. Okay, we want you to be a Jet for life. We don't want to trade you. We don't want you to feel neglected. So let's discuss a common ground. Okay, because you are our best player. We want you here long term, but we're dealing with a little bit of complications right now. So we're going to discuss a plan with you moving forward." That should be Joe Douglas's next step, and I think that will be his next step.
David, I got a question for you, David. Hold on. Hold on, Tyson. I want one more question for you, David. So, how do you feel about what he said about going somewhere else and playing, playing on his existing contract? That right there nullifies everything for me.
That would incredibly piss me off. If he's willing to be traded without a contract extension, and this was really never about a new deal, then you know what? Get out. Like I don't want to deal with a whole circus, knowing the fact that you really don't want to be here and you're getting the fans under the illusion that you just want to be paid. Like I don't want that kind of nonsense on my team. Sorry.
David, thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Appreciate it, bro.
Take care, Tyson. It was good catching up with you guys.
You too, man. That's the whole thing, Tyrone. We got a ton of people on hold here. That's the whole thing, though, where it's like, listen, everybody kind of understands the whole negotiating ploy, but that one report saying, here's the teams I want to go to, and I'll go there without a new contract, and not that's just set everybody off the hinges here.
Listen, I'm sorry, man. I'm not. Listen, Washington just gave you the blueprint of what not to do. I'm not trading Trent Williams to San Francisco for a second-round pick next year because you want to go there. No, I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. You're not. Listen, man. Listen, the Patriots can't run the asylum, and that's been the problem with the Jets for our whole problem's been. the players, the media, the running this organization. We need leadership, bro. And I'm hoping that Joe Douglas understands this and figures this out. Like, I don't want Jamal to go anywhere. No one get that confused. I don't want Jamal to go anywhere. But at the end of the day, if he does not want to be here, then, bro, I'm getting the best deal I can get. And it's not going to be a second rounder. We're not even I'm not taking phone calls for second rounders. Don't even call me with that.
Yeah, but Tyler, they had to know, like, this can't be blindsiding them. He's been talking about contracts the season was over. So if you knew the shit was gonna hit the fan, if you're actually going to trade him, you do it during the draft. Like you did this a couple months ago. So now the draft is passed, which he's kind of like, all right, now let's talk contract. If they're not doing it, and I will continue to say this, there's, like you said before, there's two sides to every story. There's his side, their side, and probably something in the middle. And there's still, in my opinion, there's still the Gase factor, and there's still the ownership factor. So a lot of other factors are going on that nobody wants to talk about because they want to focus on Jamal saying all this other shit. So we're going to go to Boy Green 25. What's up, man?
Hey guys, you guys, perfect. Everything you guys are talking about is great. But I just want to tell you that list of 7 teams that Jamal Adams reportedly gave to the media through his agent, I would use that as toilet paper and wipe my ass with it because it means absolutely nothing. He's got no leverage whatsoever, and he's telling me, yeah, I'd like to go play for the Ravens or the Chiefs. Yeah, I would like $1 million, but I'm going to wait for that to come in. So the list, he could just crumble up and throw it in the fucking garbage can. That's just trash right from the get-go. But the thing that I wanted to get off my chest here is, like, there's only 2 options for me. If you're going to trade him, you got to get an impact player that I think helps Sam Darnold. So Juju Smith-Schuster, if you're going to get a player like that, again, with some pick, I don't have Juju's contract on top of my head, but with Jamal Adams having 2 years of team control plus the franchise tag game, I say that's worth something on top of whatever the hell Jamal Adams is worth in terms of what.
Okay, well, I have a question for you then. So how do you feel about his comment? Because to me, this is the biggest point of the whole argument. How do you feel about his comment saying he'll be traded somewhere else without a contract? How do you feel about that?
Phony, full of shit, a fake leader, a guy that I don't even know what that says to the locker room when a guy comes out and says that he was whining about the money. Okay, I understand that argument. I understand why the Jets weren't going to pay him because there's 2 years left on his deal. And, you know, just because the Panthers paid Christian McCaffrey, and just because we have one village idiot doesn't mean everyone else has to jump off the bridge too. So just because the Panthers paid Christian McCaffrey early doesn't mean we have to do so with Jamal. So for him to whine about the money and then all of a sudden now it's not about the money, it's about playing for a contender. I thought when I talked to LSU people, when Jamal Adams got drafted to the Jets, they said he was a culture builder and a guy that's going to reset the locker room and create something that people are going to want to come to. And now he wants to bail and just go to a contender that's already made.
So do you buy
like
that,
everything
though?
that he's ever said is fake and full of crap. The Calvin Watkins report? Of course. I buy that he would go to a place.
But you don't think Jerry Jones?
Why else are they on the list?
You don't think Jerry Jones is playing games?
The Ravens.
But dude, Jerry Jones will play games, man. He'll use just like Adam Gase used the media here. Jerry Jones used the media there, and Calvin Watkins could fall in that category. So they could be shooting out stories too.
But the thing I would say is I don't think Joe Douglas is going to blink at stuff like that. Again, as you guys have kind of talked about, call after call after call, but like they have no leverage, or Jamal has no leverage. So for me, it's getting an impact player that could help right now because now that the draft is gone, 2021 draft picks don't mean shit to me now. But if we get rid of Jamal Adams in any trade, then you're worse than you were before. I love Marcus May. I'm intrigued by Ashton Davis, but let's be real. If you trade Jamal Adams now at post-draft, anything 2021 is full of crap. That means then again we're going to be spitting the same crap. Oh, maybe next year for the Jets. Oh, they're going to have a lot of money next year. Ooh, they'll have a lot of picks. So then it's another crap shoot year. So screw that. If you're trading Jamal, there's only one option. That's to get an impact player, and I'd like that to be on the offense. Yannick Ngakoue's cool, but he's on the franchise tag, and you got to pay him immediately. So that just seems like another problem if you're potentially trading for that. So get a wide receiver that can help Sam Darnold, because right now he's got Brashad Perriman, former first-round bust, Josh Doxson, former first-round bust. I like Jamison Crowder, and hopefully Denzel Mims will be something, but there's a reason that he was in the second round. So, yeah, help a brother out.
Do you think that Jets ownership gets involved? Like, can you see ownership saying, "Listen, Joe Douglas, we want to pay this guy," or will they get involved in this, or are they going to leave it all in his hands? Because in the past, man, they start to finagle with things.
Well, the Woody Johnson factor, whenever he inevitably returns, he's coming back no matter what happens with the future presidency. Perhaps Woody Johnson could step in and make a whole storm. I don't see Christopher Johnson doing that. I think his whole big storm was putting his pride and dignity behind the Adam Gase hire and how he backed him up. I don't think he would then do it again. I think you have one shot in the chamber, and he pulled it on Adam Gase, and we'll see whether that works out for better or for worse. But no, I think Joe Douglas got a 6-year contract for a reason. He can survive Adam Gase if that thing implodes. So, no, the Jet for Life thing for me, pay Jamal Adams next year. That's when it's going to happen. If Jamal's not happy, sit out. And I don't know if you guys have addressed this on the show because I've only been listening for the last 30 or 40 minutes or so, but Jamal Adams, if he holds out, the new CBA, not only is he going to get fined to shit, but number 2, service a year of servitude. So, long story short, they're going to own him for even longer. So, the Jets have all the cards here.
Exactly.
Do you think there's any – did you think Adam Gase has any impact on this where Jamal Adams and Adam Gase aren't seeing eye to eye with things? And he's like, you know what, I'm just tired of all this shit. Like, I'm not getting my contract. Do you think that has anything to do with it, or this is all about money?
I get the people that are going to make that connection. I heard you a little bit earlier, Tyson, talking about the Adam Gase factor and how, remember, Jay Ajayi, Jarvis Landry, all the superstars that he's chased away before. I don't think that's the case here, to be honest with you. I think it's all about money. Jamal wants to get paid, and then splitting everything up. We heard the Adam Gase weird Mike McCagnon beef with paying Le'Veon Bell too much. I don't think he feels that way about Jamal Adams. I think it's just straight up. And I heard the question asked to other callers earlier, can this be fixed? Money fixes all problems. Jamal Adams gets a contract extension next year, tomorrow, next week. He's like a kissing baby, signing autographs. He's like, what beef? What are you guys talking about? So 100%. It's just all about the money, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely.
Thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.
Thanks, fellas. See you next week.
Yeah.
Have a good night.
Brad, great call.
Tyrone, it's funny because this is like only our second and third show back trying to get the software figured out, and the live calls are actually working with the new software. I'm not sitting on my goddamn cell phone, and people are starting to get used to the mojo of how this is working. Like, we're keeping it real now. Like, Let's Talk Jets has changed, man. Like, this is real shit now. Like, we ain't messing around no more. Like, you take away our sponsors, we rebel.
Well, you know what's so crazy, man? Like I said, man, I had to give him credit, man. That was a really, really good call, man. I mean, that was a really, really good call. And he made great points. I mean, but, like I said, man, I think everyone has the same feeling. Everyone loves Jamal. I haven't heard one person say that they don't love Jamal. I mean, I just think that today, those statements made today were just so hard and so harsh and it hurt so bad because at the end of the day, that we all want to see this thing turn around. And I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think the Gates factor really plays in it at all. I think that, those players that had problems in Miami were offensive players. I think that really Greg Williams is probably – I think Greg Williams, and which no one is talking about right now, I think Greg Williams plays a big part in this too because they're like, look, Greg, can you live without Jamal? If he says yes, then,
but see, the only thing that makes me wonder, dude, and this is – Jamal Adams is all about his image, dude. He is all about looking good and presenting a certain image. Do you really think he wants to have his image out there that he's willing to bail on the Jets, go somewhere else without a new contract, and come off like a fraud, like, I was the president, but I had to jump ship? Like, for some reason, it's just not sticking with me, dude. Like, it pissed me off initially, but I'm thinking about it. I'm like, does he want that label about him out there when he's so worried about his image?
Well, I think, Tyson, when he's on the field play, it doesn't really matter. I think people forget everything, but when you're a winner, when you win, no one – listen, Belichick's a straight ass. No one cares because he wins. Tom Brady, straight cocky ass. Listen, I was telling someone – I said this comment yesterday. I'm not even mad at Brady no more. You know what I'm saying? I don't like him, but I'm not mad at him anymore. But I still hate the Patriots, So at the end of the day, I think that if you're winning – all that kills all wounds, man. I think what hurts the most is that we really believed in Jamal, and I still think that Jamal's a great player, regardless if he's with the Jets or not. But I mean, I just don't see you can't give a player up like that. Regardless if he wants to be here or not, regardless of how he feels, you can't take away his tape. You know what I'm saying? He's a two-time Pro Bowler. You know what I'm saying? So this kid has led the league in every. Exactly. So how can you let this guy go for nothing? No, impossible. If he sat out like Trent Williams, and I had to go back on that, he sat out Trent Williams for a whole year. So I can understand taking something for him, but I am not taking a deal for Jamal under a first. There's no way I would do that. And really, I really wouldn't trade him till the trade deadline. It makes no sense.
All right, we're gonna break Primetime on. Primetime's finally joining us. We got him out of the cobwebs. What's up, Kevin?
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's going on, Prime Time? What's up, baby?
What's going on, Ty?
Kevin doesn't know what to do, man. He's like, what the hell just happened to the show? Give us your take, man.
Prime time.
Well, I mean, I'm kind of all over the place with this because, I've been Team Jamal from the very beginning. But, if all the stuff coming out today is true, that he'd be willing to play for, his rookie contract somewhere else and all that, well, that image of him, being that, team leader, the guy who's going to build it up, that everybody can look up to, that definitely takes a little bit of a hit. But at the same time, it's so hard for me to blame him for those feelings. Because if you take the fan lens off, the 3 years that he's been here, look at what he's gone through. He's gone above and beyond doing everything that's been asked of him, and look what he's gotten in return, nothing. So it's so hard. I understand why he might have ill will towards the organization. For me, that makes sense. And for the Jets, I don't understand, what do they have to gain by playing this game with him? If they really want to make him a Jet for life, do it. If they're financially strapped, okay, that's your own problem. If it's a cap issue, uncertainty going forward, I can understand that. Otherwise, it always makes sense to do these deals sooner than later. So if you have intentions of paying him, at least communicate that. It doesn't even seem like there's been any communication. So, again, what do you have to gain by playing this game with him? If you win, congratulations. You stood tall in contract negotiations, but you lost a great player. So is it worth it? So I'm defeated on both sides of it, to be honest.
Well, Primetime, I have a question for you, Primetime. So what would be your outcome to this? I mean, because I was telling Tyson earlier and Carlos earlier as well, I don't see this being fixed. I mean, I think to the point now that, it's starting to get, this rhetoric is getting too bad. So what would you do? What would be in this move? Would you trade him or would you hold on to him?
At this point, I feel like they almost have to trade him. I don't want to look at it as caving into his demands, but, what are you going to do? You're going to keep a player who doesn't want to be here? Or even worse, are you going to sign a guy that has now kind of shown he does not want to be here? If he's willing to play somewhere else for the same contract, is that worth the risk?
What if that report's not true, though? What if that report's not true?
Obviously, that would completely change things. I mean, that's where him and his agents and Joe Douglas have to have a real heart-to-heart. Like, Jamal, do you legitimately want to be here? If the money is equal, do you want to lead this team to great things going forward? Do you want to be the face of this franchise? And if so, we'll give you the money. If not, if you want to be somewhere else, if your heart is in Dallas, we'll trade you. At this point, I think the relationship at this point is probably not repairable.
Dude, this conversation should have happened before the draft. Why is it happening now then?
I completely agree.
But
I said that earlier on Twitter, that if they were going to trade him before the draft would have been the time to do it, because then you get Darnold more assets. That would have absolutely been the time to do it.
But you would trade him to Dallas? I mean, you don't know how.
Whoever would give me the best package. I mean, I really don't care where he goes. Obviously, outside of like the AFC East, I mean, whoever would give you the best package. But again, you already turned down a first and a third at the deadline last year, apparently.
So what would be your package?
If you turned that down, knowing that you weren't going to pay him at this point, and it was going to get to this point where he was going to be frustrated with you, I have a lot of questions with the way they handled this.
So, Primetime, what would be your package you would accept right now? I mean, I know it was the first and the third during the draft time, but right now, what would be the least you would take?
It would have to be that first and third. Like, that was, what he was offered. He's done nothing to, decrease his value since then. So, yeah, I mean, it would have to be minimum first and third. And even then, I didn't think that was enough. I would still want more than that personally, but I don't know if they would get it, especially now, that he's already made it known he wants out, he's disgruntled. I think the Jets lose a little bit of leverage. I keep hearing everyone say the Jets have all the leverage. I don't totally agree with that because, again, you're a team that needs talent, and your best player doesn't want to be here right now, and he's trying to force his way out. So that's not a good look, and the Jets always care about perception. So I don't think the Jets have all the leverage here.
I completely agree. I think this actually makes it worse, where it's like, before the draft you do it, it's like, okay, you have a lot more resources that you can use this year, this year's draft, obviously, but then you avoid all this. Now you've lost some leverage where they say, listen, you have a bona fide problem on your hands. We're not giving you max value. We're going to give you lesser value. Take it or leave it. And then the Jets say, okay, we're going to leave it. Then you have this disgruntled player in your locker room. How the hell do you handle that? Which is it's going to cause problems because you have an angry fan base and this media loves to stir the pot. It's going to be a shitstorm. So I agree with you, Kevin. I don't think the Jets are in a perfect spot with Adams at all.
No, and again, like, that's why this conversation, like you said, it should have happened well before the draft. They should have known what his demands would have been, what his asking price was, if that was reasonable, if they could do it. And if they couldn't, that should have been communicated one way or another. The fact that, again, I don't know what Adams' camp is just throwing out there, but according to his accounts, it doesn't even seem like there's been any basic communications at all. So, if that's how you treat your best player and he's going to send that message out to the rest of the league, as a respected dude, that's not a good look either. So, I don't know, man.
Do you think ownership gets involved?
They always have in the past. I'm curious to know what was discussed with Joe Douglas when he took the job, as far as whether or not ownership would have final say on certain things, and I really don't know, and I don't know if it's a financial thing either. If they literally don't have the money that they can allocate going forward. I'm seeing some of the stuff that Manisha's putting out there. So who really knows what to believe at this point?
Well, Primetime, I've listened to you say on other shows, Primetime, that, if they want to pay Jamal, they can pay Jamal. There's ways they can find ways to pay him and give him the money that he wants. So, you think that, Joe Douglas is just holding back? To me, if you don't make a statement that you're going to pay Jamal, then you're going to pay him.
Jet for life.
Exactly. The only
exactly. So that Jet for life should mean something.
Yeah, dude, the only thing I think that could affect that is if there's legitimate concerns about what the cap might look like going forward because of, the coronavirus and, how it might impact, fan attendance and all of that. If there's legitimate concerns because of that, again, it should have been communicated with Jamal. But if that's the reason, you could almost understand that. Otherwise, they are loaded with cap space. They have nobody else on the roster that they need to pay. Contracts generally go up, not down, so it makes sense to pay him early. There would have been every reason to give him this deal. And again, I keep hearing that, nobody signs a contract after 3 years. That's bullshit. It's rare. It doesn't happen often, but it's happened. McCaffrey signed. I think Tyron Smith. There are guys that do it. So again, you can set a standard with your organization that, hey, if you come in, if you're drafted and you exceed expectations, we would have no issue paying you early. I think that's a good message to send for the right guy. And up until this point, it seems like Jamal was the right guy. The way he's handling this, obviously, it gives a lot of questions. But again, I can't help but kind of feel for him and understand where he's coming from.
But Primetime, you just made a really, really key point that I hope all the listeners really heard. Listen, with the coronavirus, man, we have no clue what the cap's going to be this year. You think really that's the real reason why they haven't given him a contract? That really makes sense. Think about it.
That would be the only thing to me that would make sense. If there are actual concerns around the league amongst owners about, how much revenue might be generated this year and how it would affect the cap next year, if that's a legit possibility, and again, I don't know if it is, that would be understandable. Other than
but then Kevin,
I don't know.
But you know how you avoid all this then? You have the conversation with his agent and say, listen, man, it's only July. It's only June. We need to see what happens with the pandemic. We don't even know if we're have fans in the stands this year. Can we come back to you late August, September, and re-talk contract when we have a better understanding of what the hell is going to happen with our league? Right now, we don't know. To me, it's just communication then. Yeah. Just having a clear communication. Listen, we want to get a deal with you done, but we don't even know what we're dealing with next year, so we can't figure it out. Just do that. I think he'd be reasonable knowing that the whole world's in goddamn quarantine right now. But if there's no communication, that's what I'm wondering about.
Yeah, by all indications, it doesn't seem like there's been any communication at all, unless Jamal is just lying to get the media in his favor. It doesn't seem like there's been any communication. So I don't understand that perspective from the Jets. They have every reason to want to keep tabs on their best player, to try and if they really wanted to make him a Jet for life, you should be having those conversations. So I don't know.
So Kevin, what do you do right now? Listen, I understand. It's 9:30 Thursday night. The shit hit the fan. The NFL, we're the talk of the NFL once again, unfortunately, for all the wrong reasons. If you're Joe Douglas, how do you handle this tonight? What do you do? What's your first step to get this back in some kind of direction?
I would try to reach out to Jamal directly. I doubt he would even want to take the phone call. I'm pretty sure it's probably just going to be between agents at this point. And I think Jamal has had it made up in his mind that he is not going to be a Jet again. And if that's the case, I don't know if there's any dollar amount that would even change his mind at this point. So, if things have gotten to that point, I don't know if you really have a choice but to trade him. Otherwise, you're talking about going into training camp, through training camp, into the preseason with this as a constant distraction, and then, God forbid it, goes into the season, he actually does a holdout maybe. I don't think he would do that, but, if he did, that's an even bigger circus that you got to worry about. So I don't know. I think you got to find out first and foremost where his heart is, and if he really, if the dollar amounts are equal, if he would want to be here as the leader that we saw him as the first 3 years. And if that's no longer the case, if the organization has rubbed him the wrong way over these, last 3 years, if he doesn't believe in Gase, doesn't, want to be a part of the fan base anymore, if all of it's just, too much for him, then fine. Make that known and we can move on. But I think that's got to be communicated.
But Primetime, why trade him? I mean, see, my whole point is this: why not? If you want to hold out. I mean, because listen, if we trade him, we're going to be without with Jamal. So if he holds out, we're going to be without Jamal. So we're looking at the season without Jamal anyway. So why? I'm sorry. I mean, I'll take the heat and I'll take the problems with it being a distraction. No, you're not going to get what you want. You're not going to pout and get what you want. It makes no sense.
But if he legitimately doesn't want to be here anymore, is he even going to sign a contract? And even if he does, his outlook on the team, I mean, I feel like over the last few months it's completely changed. I don't know if signing a contract, would bring back the old Jamal, but I really don't know. If his heart is no longer in New York and he legitimately wants out, I don't know if that, can be repaired. I don't know if the stuff from last year with, Douglas and Gase where he called him out on Twitter, I don't know if that's still in the back of his mind and he hasn't, moved past that. I really don't know what's going on in his head. And that's what, again, Joe Douglas needs to get on the same page with him and find out if there's any way to repair the relationship. And if it can, we would love to repair it, and we'd love to find a way to work out a contract. But if you are dead set on leaving this team and you do not want to be here, I don't know if it makes sense to pay a guy that doesn't want to be here.
This shit should have all happened in March and April. This should have all been ironed out already. We shouldn't be this, because Kevin, we talked about this. How many shows did we talk about this? And we predicted it. What did we say?
Every single
shit's
show.
Going to hit the fan.
Every show.
We talked about it. We knew it was going to get ugly. Oh, you guys are just being negative. Blah blah blah. It's the same thing. It's actually getting worse than the Revis thing, because now there's rumors of where he wants to go and all this other, and actually with teams being named. But if this is the path we're on, the Jets can't be blindsided. They knew about this. This conversation should have happened in March and April, and they should know where they stood. And to me, the timeline seems to be where they said they're not going to talk contract before the draft. They'll do it after the draft. After the draft, it was, well, we had a second wave of free agency. Then we'll talk contract. Here we are. Training camp, in theory, is a month and a half away. So he's probably like, all right, this, right? That's the timeline. That's where we're at.
And that's where they really messed up. And this could be a learning lesson for Joe Douglas. The fact that he went to the media and said, we want to make Jamal a Jet for life, and then said, hey, we'll connect after the draft. Even if your intention wasn't to sign him now, you gave the impression to the fan base and to Jamal that you wanted to work out a contract now. You gave that impression. So if you would have just came out right away and said, he's under contract for, another 2 to 3 years, we'll have discussions, but, we expect him to play out his contract, something along those lines, nobody would be expecting anything. And if Jamal pulled this, I think the Jets would have a lot of support on their side. But the fact that you kind of gave that impression that you were willing to do a deal, whether you were or weren't, you gave that impression, I think that kind of set things in motion for the way they've gone.
Prime time. Welcome back, man. It's been a little while. Are you rejuvenated? Tyrone's been missing you, man.
I'm defeated, man. It's always negative shit with this team.
Come on, man. I was like, Tyrone, you know what's funny is I texted Kevin. I'm like, bro, 8 o'clock, we got to do it. And I can just see him rolling his eyes, being like, this fucking team. You can just tell it's exactly what he's thinking. Like, I don't want to deal with 3 hours of this nonsense.
Well, anytime we ever have to do an impromptu show, is it ever about anything positive? It's always about, mono or season-ending injury. Never something positive.
But Primetime, you always give the best takes, though, bro. I always love listening to you give your perspective on this right here. You put everything in a whole different kind of perspective. And basically what you're saying tonight is, man, like, it's over. Like, it's, I mean, you always, I'm not going to say you're always right, but you're always damn near dead on. So it's looking right.
Aside from Mike McFadden and Kristen Hackenberg, I'm pretty on point.
But he doesn't realize, though, Tyrone. But see, what Kevin doesn't realize is he's talking to podcast royalty now. we have the Tyrone on the show. This guy is he's doing like 6-7 podcasts a week. Like we got to Venmo some money after the show because he came on tonight.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been seeing that. He's been all over the place.
Yep.
All blown up.
He's like, yep. He's know what he's doing. He's going to put his demands out there. He's going to be like, I want to be on these podcasts. He'll start laying them out for us now. I see it.
Well, now, you know what? I'm gonna pull a Jamal Adams, man. You look, you paid me and trade me, baby. That's what we're gonna do.
Oh, here we go.
And I'll show.
I still got that video from the bar. I still got that video on my phone.
Hey, prime time. Listen, man. Don't be trying to blackmail me, man. Listen, everybody's in that video. I just want to put that out there. Everybody's in that video. If I go down, the whole team go down.
See, now you are Jamal Adams. You are. See, Tyrone has those same instincts, man. See, damn you, man.
Hey, man, prime time, he's putting the video out, bro. That's cold, bro. That's cold. Cold,
Kevin,
bro.
thanks for joining us, man. We got to bring we'll let you go. We're gonna bring on Jay for his hot take. So thanks, man. And next Tuesday you're back, right?
Yep, I'm back.
Chaos is back. Thanks, man. We appreciate it.
Yep.
Poor Kevin. We're gonna go to NYSF Magazine. Jay, welcome to the Chaos.
God damn it, fellas. God fucking damn it. Thank God we're allowed to play on this fucking show.
Just Tuesday. We were positive on Tuesday, man.
I can't take it anymore with this goddamn franchise. And this is the exact type of day that makes people go crazy and fly airplanes over cities and hate the front office. Because, dude, Ty, you know what the amazing thing is, man? You brought it up about 5 minutes ago, but I really want to harp on the fact that, like, all of us have been talking about this exact situation every episode of your fucking show for the last, 6 months, right?
Yep,
and
that's true.
And we all saw this coming. So you always say it, Ty. We're not experts. We're just fans, right? So if us just fans can see this shit coming, it happens? It doesn't matter who's inside that building, who the GM is, whatever. This shit happens every couple of years. We get a good player and he walks. Revis, gone. John Abraham, gone. And you know, it's like we can't keep our best players. And now I'm like Kev. I have hate on both sides. Like, dude, I don't want to hate Jamal Adams, but he's being a real dickhead. And then I don't want to hate the Jets front office and give them shit all the time. And I certainly don't even enjoy giving them credit. But dude, Jamal's being a grade A asshole right now. I'm sorry. There's a pandemic going on.
What brought him to that point, Jay? Like, there has to be something that brought him to this point. Like, right now he's coming up as a fraud. Everybody hates him, but something had to go wrong with negotiations where they're like, listen, I understand everybody hates Jamal and he's being a real complete pain on the ass on social media and everything else. I completely understand that. But something gets you to this point where maybe the Jets aren't doing their part. Maybe they haven't offered a contract. Maybe they haven't communicated. Maybe they're not doing anything. Like, I'm not giving a Jets a pass here, man.
No. I'm not giving them a pass. Listen, there's a lot of incompetence in that front office, and they don't get a pass by any means for this situation. Kevin nailed it. He said it exactly right. The Jets, they didn't learn from Rex Ryan. Like, they didn't learn from Rex Ryan. Like it happened in their building a couple of years ago when Rex Ryan went up there and said, "Oh, Darrelle Revis is the best cornerback of all time. He's going to be a Jet for life." Blah 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 blah, and then they wound up freaking trading him, right? And then the same thing happened. It wasn't even that long ago. Ty, you've been saying for almost a year that you sniffed a Darrelle Revis situation going on here ever since the trade deadline, basically. You know, like we saw it coming. So if we saw it coming, how can they don't address problems? There's no accountability. There's no foresight of what the fuck is going to happen in the future. It's just there's never a plan. And that's the problem with this organization. It's always been the problem with this goddamn organization is there's never a plan. It's just reactive. Everything's reactive. And it's always the reaction is always after something crazy happens in the media and then they're forced to react. So that it's like emergency panic mode all the time. There's never a plan. Did they have a plan for Jamal? And if they did, they should have traded. Like, it's the same thing with Robbie Anderson. They had a plan for Robbie Anderson. They kept him at the trade deadline and let him walk. I don't get it. Make a plan and stick to it.
Jay, you were so happy Tuesday, man. What happened? Like, No, man, listen, Jay.
Goddamn organization, man. I'm just trying to mind my own business, and then I get 50 text messages from all my Giant fan friends talking shit to me with yo, your best player wants to leave. It's always a fun day when that crap happens, right? It's like, and it's just deja vu, and I'm sick and tired of it, man. I'm really I'm so drained from all the negativity that comes from this franchise. You try to be positive, and then they don't allow it. They will not allow you to be positive. What happened to me on Tuesday? The Jets happened. That's what happened. This is the team we root for. This is our franchise. It sucks, but
so
nobody's going anywhere.
Hey,
so
prime time just killed me, bro. Like, I'm still sitting here amazed what prime time just said, man. I'm sitting there like, look, like we're really about to lose Jamal Adams. And then Jay, you bring up the Darrelle Reeves trade. It's like, are we about to watch history again? We didn't learn, as an organization, we didn't learn anything. You're about to get your best player walk out the door, and there's nothing we can do about it. But, Jay,
there is something you can do about it. Wait, hold on, time out. There is something you can do about it. Like, if somebody goes into Joe Douglas's office and said, listen, we got to keep this guy. Like, this it's gone too far. This is becoming a shit show. He's our best player. He's a guy you build your defense around. He's a building block of turning the shit show around. Let's get this done and just calm the nonsense. Like, it should not, somebody at some point could say, hey, listen, it should never gotten this far. We don't know why it did, but let's squash it. So they can save this. This is very savable.
Oh, they can definitely save it. Boy Green said it right. They can save it. You pay him the money, and he moves on, and he's psyched, and he thinks he won, and he's happy as shit, and he comes back. Now the question is, at that point, what player are you getting? I mean, I hate to say it, but and I'm not saying Jamal's the type of dude that'll do this, but we've seen what happens sometimes when guys get paid. We saw what happens. Did we ever think that Mo Wilkerson was going to quit? He quit.
Yes, we did.
Quit on the team.
Yes, we did, Jay. Mo and Jamal are two different players, though, man. Because I don't know. I just figure once we gave
now they are, but not when That's revisionist history, though, bro. That's not true. When the whole point was we were trying to sign Mo Wilkerson because he was a leader in the locker room and did all these great things off the field.
Jersey
he was
guy.
A local kid. Dude, there was nothing but everybody wanted Mo Wilkerson back, and he quit. So the question is, Jamal's showing us right now that he all that hoopla and all that bullshit that he spews about being the president and the leader and all that stuff, and he's going to turn the Jets around. He wants to be here for life. If that were the case, he wouldn't have did what he done today, man. Like, there's a pandemic going on. The team hasn't been in the front office for months. Like, There's look at what's going on with the MLB. They can't even come to a solution on payment. Like, people are losing hundreds of millions of dollars. Franchise, they have no clue how to plan. And now's the time you're going to demand a trade. It's a dick move, dude. I'm sorry. Like, you could wait another month or two if this is going to be your play until and behind the scenes say, listen, if you guys don't get with me before training camp, like, I'm not coming to freaking training camp. I'm not going to make that public in the media yet, but I'm telling you right now, we're addressing this within the next 2 months. I mean, that's right. What I would have done if I was Jamal. This was not the right way to go about it, man. It just wasn't. It just wasn't. And it's been brewing now for months, since the trade deadline. I mean, he quit. Dude, listen, you say Jamal's a different type of guy and wouldn't quit. I watched that man quit. Did you watch that Miami game after all that trade deadline nonsense? He didn't try. He was getting toasted in that game. I saw him quit.
So Jay, what is your step tonight? If you're Joe Douglas, now everything's hit the fan and we're talking about it. The media's gonna be pounding on it. They're gonna get blasted all night tonight, all day tomorrow. What do the Jets as an organization do? What's their first step? What do they do? How do they handle this?
You got to reach out to him, man. You have to reach out to him, and you have to make sure that sometime by the end of this weekend, so that this doesn't fester on any longer, you get a face-to-face, FaceTime, Zoom, whatever the hell you have to do to get everybody on the same page. And just like Kev just said, basically was, you got to find out what his intentions are. If he's doing this because he wants out and doesn't want a contract, that's a whole different story than he's doing this because he wants a contract. So, I mean, it just could be a dirty negotiation tactic that we called on your show. Again, I hate to keep bringing back like we're the smartest people in the world, but literally, Ty, when we were talking about the draft and would you trade Jamal and stuff, and that whole time I said he has absolutely, positively no leverage except to be the biggest asshole possible and try to force his way out. That's the only leverage he has. That's it. The more shit that he brings into the media, the more of a shitstorm it is, the more uncomfortable it is, the more it forces Jets' hand to have to do something. So, me personally, I'm not allowing myself to be held hostage by that. I'm sorry. If I'm Joe Douglas and I'm trying to set a precedent here that I'm not going to be punked in the media like that, I'm not trading him to some team just because he wants to be traded. F that.
Absolutely.
And listen, the only way out of this, the only way out of this is to come to him and say, listen, here's the deal. Here's how we're both going to win in this situation. We're going to give you the contract that you want. You're not going to bend us over the coals and try to extract like $23 million a year from us. We're going to give you a fair deal right now. You're going to feel like you conceded a little bit because you could have gotten more in the open market, but we didn't have to shred your deal up 3 years early. This is what happens in baseball all the time, And then so we'll give you $17 million a year. We'll give you the extension, and that's the best we're going to offer. If you try to, if you want top dollar and you're acting like this $24 million or whatever crazy number you're asking for as a safety, then we'll trade you. That's it. Then we're going to trade you, but we're going to do it on our time. So if that doesn't happen until the trade deadline, or that doesn't happen until next off season before the draft or something, then we'll trade you. But we're going to stop offering you contracts at that point. Take it or leave it. That's how I'd approach it.
Absolutely.
Here's your
Absolutely,
offer.
Jay.
You asked for an offer. Here's your offer, Russ. We'll readdress this next off season. If you want to hold out for a whole year, then you'll get nothing. And then maybe we won't trade you.
Absolutely.
Jay, thank you for calling, man. We appreciate it. We're here for you.
Yo, I appreciate it. I needed that. God, I've been pissed off all day.
It's been a rough day, bro. It's been a rough day.
Thanks for calling, man. We appreciate it.
Day.
Have a good night, guys.
Later, dude.
All right, have a good one, Jay.
All right, we're going to go to Ronaldo. Ronaldo, what's up, man?
What's up, boys? You damn near pulled a Joe Douglas on me, my friend. You said I was next. Six callers
Dude,
later.
Listen, man. Ronaldo, I got a confession to make, man. We're using all new software. I have a new microphone. I have all kinds of new shit here. So, I'm scrambling, man. I'm trying to screen things, figure out things. If you knew the things I was dealing with right now, so I apologize.
Yeah, that's
Next week will be
I'm
better.
happy we got a show tonight. And you know what's crazy? The way the new format is with no sponsors and you guys are able to curse and stuff, it is so much better. I can get all the raw passion out of every Jets fan. I can feel their pain with no
get one out, baby.
hesitation.
Get it out, baby. Get it out. Get it out. Get one out.
This fucking team is a disaster. This team is so bad.
Hey.
Okay, listen to this, right? Back-to-back seasons, we've been the laughing stock of the NFL. Back-to-back off-season laughing stocks. Fire our GM one season. Next year, Jamal Adams can't get paid. What is this team, bro?
But, Ronaldo, what would you do?
So, Ronaldo,
first of all, Ronaldo, we talked about this. This isn't a surprise. We knew the situation was going to happen. We predicted this for months. But what do you do now? We're not surprised. We knew that the shit was going to hit the fan. It's hit the fan big time. How do you handle it? What's your next step here?
Okay, basically, so the NFL is a bottom-line business, right? Bottom line is we have him under contract for 2 more seasons. He has zero leverage. He's just mad. I would be mad, too, if I could make more millions of dollars and the team didn't want to give it to me, even though I earned it. So I understand his perspective. But at the end of the day, the Jets hold your rights, and they're not going to trade you and get a crappy – you're the best player on our team. We're not going to trade you. We're just not going to. You can cry about it all you want. It's not happening, my guy. I'm sorry. It's just not happening.
And on top of that, Ronaldo, he's not the best player on our team. He's one of the best safeties in the league. So at the end of the day, I've been saying this all day long, man. Listen, I'm sorry. I'm not trading you for anything less than what I want. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. If I want to get if you want to get traded, that's fine. You can sit at home until you figure it out. But I'm not trading you till I get what I want. And that's just it. Whether you cost a stereo, you cost a problem, regardless. I still think it's better off that we trade him when it's time, when the right deal comes, when the right deal approaches. So my question, Ronaldo, is this.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, though. So as a Jet fan, how do you feel about the comment Jamal made today about going to another team? If it's true, going to another team, playing out his rookie deal contract. How do you feel about that as a Jet fan?
At first, I was completely devastated. I was like, this dude is legit pulling a KD. He was pulling a KD. He was joining the bandwagon. All these great franchises. He has to understand there's so many players don't get on good teams. So many players, Hall of Fame players, were on crappy teams. But then I'm out here getting worked up about Jamal Adams. How can he do this to us? And we're already a crappy team. Like, our best player wants to leave. Great. Typical Jet season, right? And then this dude is out here playing golf, living his best life. Bruh. This dude is playing golf, living his best life.
He don't care, man. He's letting his agent close the fury, man. He don't give a rat's ass. He's like, I'm just going to live my life.
About nobody. Like,
but, dude, the only thing...
He's a rich black man, but damn.
But, Ronaldo, the only thing you got to wonder about, though, is Jamal Adams is all about his image. That's what he is. And I just have a weird feeling like he's going to want people to portray him as a fraud, as a guy that quit on his organization, quit on New York. Like, listen, if you win in New York, you're a superstar. If you quit on New York, you're going to get labeled. Like, this fan base, this media, we'll never forget this shit.
But Tyson, it doesn't matter, though. I mean, do you think it really matters if he wins? If he goes somewhere else and wins, does it really matter?
Yeah, but he's got a lot of pride, dude. Like, he's coming up as a fraud right now, dude.
Well, he's definitely coming up as a fraud if he made that comment.
Hey, this was Mike McCagnon. I mean, that guy might have been the highest paid player in football at this point. I mean, he would have had a bend over backwards for him.
If it was Mike McCagnon,
Jamal... This is McCagnon irritating.
Right now, it'd have been over. Oh, listen, hey, absolutely. Mike would have been like, you know, what you want, Jamal?
Yep.
Facts. Name your price. Anything you want.
Ronaldo, thanks for calling in, man. We appreciate it.
Any day.
All right, brother. Have a good night, bro.
Good night, guys.
We're going to bring Prime Time again. Prime Time, you still there?
Yep. What's going on?
So I just want to get some more thoughts from you, man, because now it's just me, you, and Tyrone. We can talk some shop here. So what is the impact of this, do you think, on the locker room and around the league with players? Because Jamal's the kind of guy that a lot of guys want to play with. He's very respected. He goes to the Pro Bowl. All guys they all resonate to him, man. They all kind of want to, he's part of the elite level player. What is going to be the reception to this around the league, do you think?
That's a fascinating question, to be honest, because, I mean, up until this point...
I'll be here all the time.
Up until this point, I mean, we've all kind of viewed Jamal as, like, this perfect, untouchable savior, right? Well, now, I mean, if that quote that came out today is true, that, he would go somewhere under the same contract, if that's true, I mean, that if I'm a Jets player, I look at that and I'm like, what we're building here is not good enough? Under your leadership, it's not good enough?
Yep.
So I think that takes a little bit of a hit.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing. Like, he's such a respected guy. We all and I think as Jet fans, we all bought into it. Like, listen, everybody wants to play with Jamal. He's the best. He's gonna do this. He's gonna do that. And now we're kind of getting sideswiped. Like, whoa, what the fuck is going on now? Not only is he not the guy we thought he was, he wants out of Dodge.
And that's the thing. Like,
he's always been that person, though.
Jet fans are still angry right now. Over the last 10 years, what we've gone through, it would have been so easy for Jamal to play this against the Jets and keep fan support. I mean, there's a million different ways that he could have gone about this and made the Jets look awful. But what's come out today, again, maybe this is just the Jets trying to get back at him for leaking stuff. Who the hell knows what's actually true? So I hate really commenting on this stuff right away. But, I mean, today is definitely – it's not a good look for Jamal, but I'll keep saying it. Whatever is going on in his head, whatever frustration is there, I think almost every fan can relate, and we probably understand what he's going through and why he might want out.
Yep.
Well, see, the funny part is he dropped that text he dropped a couple of days ago when he was like, yo, I appreciate everybody getting their money, but I want to get mine. That right there was enough. Because if you look at it, every fan reacted to that. They were like, yo, pay the guy, pay the guy, pay the guy. But I think today, man, I just think, if that, like I said, if that statement is true, it left a foul taste in my mouth for sure, man. I just lost all respect for him because, so I really believed that you was going to turn this thing around. I mean, listen, we know this organization has problems. We understand that. We understand you want to get your money. But at the same time, to say you'll go play for someone else under your same contract that wasn't good enough for you to play for us is BS. Didn't the seven of the teams you named are all championship teams, all playoff teams? Come on, man, that's crazy.
Yep, and again, let's not also forget the fact that last year his social media accounts were completely different than they were or than they are this time of year. Just as far as like free agency goes, trying to recruit players. Mosley and Bell were both very vocal that Adams was a big part of the recruitment. So, the fact that he was willing to be that team guy for so long, and then obviously all this stuff over the last 3 years, it's clearly gotten to him. He's at the point now where he wants his, and it's hard not to understand that.
Dude, I completely agree. I completely agree.
I understand him wanting his money, and I have no problem with him wanting his money. But if you're going to say you're going to be a leader of this team and you're going to stand up in front of everyone else, and then you make comments that, you know what I'm saying, you want to leave, you want to go cut and run tail, then go ahead. You know what I'm saying? This is my whole point with it.
Exactly.
Regardless, man, with Jamal or without Jamal, I still see this team being better. You know what I'm saying? Now, I have a problem.
Dude, if Jamal doesn't play this year, this team is not better. They're going backwards. He's the best player in their defense.
No, Tyson.
Especially on defense with the offenses that they're going to be going up against.
He's one of the best players on the defense. You know what I'm saying? But I think also, man, you have a great year. You know, listen, Jamal had a breakout year last year. The year prior to that, Jamal was good, but Jamal had a breakout year last night. It wasn't all Jamal. A lot of that was Greg Williams. You know what I'm saying? A lot of that was Greg Williams.
Oh, Jesus
so,
Christ, dude.
You know,
if you're going to start listen, Greg Williams is good. Greg Williams is good. He's not a fucking savior. Jamal Adams is the best player on your defense. C.J. Mosley didn't prove he can stay healthy yet here. He played, 1.5 games? I mean, Jamal Adams is a game-breaking talent. You take him off this team this year and replace him with fucking draft picks for next year, it's a hurt this year. Like, he's part of the equation of winning this year. You take it away, you're going backwards.
Davis.
Yeah, Ashton Davis.
Listen, I understand
wonderful.
that. I understand that, but at the same time, listen, man, I'm just trying to think optimistic. Man, listen, if he's going to not be here, man, I'm going to pump myself up into believing we're going to be just as good. I got to do that to myself.
No, but why not? Just call it what it is. If you make a decision and say, listen, we're going to trade Jamal. Trading Jamal Adams right now is so fucking stupid because this should have been done before the draft. It's just dumb to do it now. Unless you're getting back physical players that contribute this year, trading them now is just asinine. But I know Joe Douglas is the hero, so nobody wants to hear that. So you trade him now, it's stupid. If he's not on the team this year, you got to get back guys that can play this year, Tyrone. You have no choice. Yeah, and if he's not here and you're getting draft picks, dude, this defense is going backwards. He's your best player. He's your best passer, for Christ's sakes.
That's why I said I would not trade him before the trade deadline. I don't care what he goes through. I mean, because if I'm not physically going to get someone to help me this year,
you just said they're going to be good without him. Your exact words. You said they're going to be good without him. I heard you.
That was bullshit, bro. Listen, that was bullshit, bro. I had a lot of
Kevin heard you.
Tyson. I gotta believe this to myself.
Listen, man, we ain't doing. Listen, Tyrone. Rule number one of Let's Talk Jets: we don't do Kool-Aid shit. We ain't gonna sell no pipe dreams here. We're keeping it real, man.
Listen. At the end of the day, man, I'm gonna be honest with you. I do not want Jamal to leave. I don't want him to leave. But if he has to go, then I'm still gonna be a Jet fan, so I'm still gonna root for my defense. So I'm gonna say,
but listen, you can be a Jet fan, but it's okay to say, listen, we're gonna take a step back this year, and that's what's gonna happen. To say that you get rid of him and for draft picks, which still would make me incredibly pissed. Yes, you're gonna be like, all right, our defense took a big blow, and now there's more pressure on Mosley to stay healthy, and now Ashton Davis to contribute, and then give Marcus May a new contract because you got to keep somebody back there.
Well, my whole point is this. Regardless of what happens, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, trading him for draft picks, that's what I said. It doesn't help us this year. Now, we would have traded him during the draft. You could have took a safety higher, or you could have got it.
Or took a receiver.
Sam. I mean,
a goddamn receiver.
Exactly. Look, hold on. If we would have traded with Dallas, we would have had. Listen, if we would have traded with Dallas, we would have C.J. Mosley, C.D. Lamb right now. Would nobody say nothing right now? Everybody would be happy. They'd be like, Jamal.
That's the whole thing, Tyron. That's why this conversation should have happened in March and April. You go into the draft saying, "Listen, Jamal, sit down. What do you want? If you truly want out of New York, we're going to make it happen before the rest of the league finds out and we lose our leverage, or it becomes a clusterfuck." But okay, so whatever, the conversation may or may not have happened. They promised some kind of conversation. Apparently that hasn't happened. So I refuse to give the Jets a pass here. I just have a funny feeling the communication is not where it's supposed to be, and I don't give a shit how good Joe Douglas ever keeps telling me how good he is. I think both sides are at fault, and now here we are. And if you it's just, this sucks. I hate this shit. I hate it.
But is there
He's one of our own, dude. Like the homegrown talent. He's like a guy we all were proud of. Like, when was the last time we had a player we were proud of? Revis? Like, seriously. Who's the guy we walked around like that's one of our guys? Son of a
Is there
bitch.
any scenario where you thought he wasn't going to get paid, though? Like, I mean, did you honestly believe he wasn't going to get a contract? See, I didn't believe that. I really thought he was going to get his contract. That's why, I was okay with the moves they made, because I didn't think that they wasn't going to pay Jamal. Like, if you would have told me that they weren't going to pay Jamal, then listen, if Joe Douglas does this and he gets rid of Jamal, he's going to look like an ass. Because that's just retarded, you know what I'm saying? But this is the same team that fired the general manager that you let do your off season and do your draft.
But this is supposed to be a new respected front office, though, man. Like, this is supposed to be the new and approved. Joe Douglas has got the experience from Philadelphia and Baltimore. He hired all the guys he wants. They're one cohesive unit. They're all smart. They're all doing the right thing. Okay, well, now you got to prove it, because trading him now is stupid. Unless you're getting back in Ngakoue, or you're getting back a receiver, or Michael Gallup or CeeDee Lamb or whoever you're getting back. But he's got something to prove here, man. Like this, and like it's funny because Rich Cimini said it. He's like, this is a great test for Joe Douglas, which we said 3 months ago, and it is, because now it's like the pressure is on. You have a turbulent situation. You have the media who lives for this shit. They love to stir the pot. The fan base is bipolar as shit. They love you today, they hate you tomorrow. It's all a big firestorm. How does Joe Douglas handle it? And the longer you let it fester on, the worse it's going to get. And the Jets look like assholes. And so does Jamal. They both look like shit right now.
It's, like you said, Tyson, it's a shit storm.
I hate this shit.
I mean, anytime you have a Thursday improv show, it's like Jay said, it's never for a good reason.
Shit pisses me off. You know what the thing is, though? Because at some, dude, we're diehard Jet fans, and some guys you just want to believe in. And he was one of the guys you believe in. He stayed in, 2 hours after practice? I mean, Primetime and I, we were there. We watch him stay there and sign autographs for hours. The president, he did all this shit. You buy into it. Like, we finally have a building block. We thought he was a piece to our puzzle. And now it's like, all right, now half the family's like, oh, fuck him, get rid of him. All right, that's another piece gone. We're building our defense around who? Hopefully C.J. Mosley. And then who? Like, we got the goal is to collect talent, not get rid of it. And now this could be a problem.
Absolutely.
I think you brought this up a few weeks ago. Correct me if I'm wrong, but the way that the fans kind of elevated him in those first 2 years, because they legitimately didn't have anything else to hang on to aside from when we finally got Sam. He was pretty much the guy. Do you think that kind of got to his head a little bit, to the point where he is this diva that's kind of deviated from that leader that we did draft, that we believed in?
Dude, when you have analysts all across the NFL calling you the best safety in football, Brian Baldinger, guy that I love watching his stuff, his breakdowns, everybody's telling you you're the best safety. You're all pro at 24 years old. You're gonna start buying your own. You're gonna start buying your own presence. You're gonna be like, hey man, I believe in myself now, and he wants to get paid. Like, Kevin, if we were in that boat, think about it. We're at our jobs now, and after your third year at your job, you can talk new deal. Like, I can get a new salary, I can new wage. What are you going to do? You're going to ask for it, because you know what? You've earned it. If you outperformed your contract, you're going to go ask for it. If you don't get that contract, you're going to find something else. You either put your resume on LinkedIn, or you start looking at other places. Like, listen, man, I got to go find. I want to get mine. But Tyrone, that's real life shit, dude.
Tyson. Aside from that, though, think about the company itself. Don't you always want to work for a company that you enjoy going to work, you enjoy being a part of that company, aside from just the numbers, which he knows he can get anywhere?
You want to feel appreciated, dude. Like, if you're at a company working your ass off and you're outperforming everybody, you're the best at what you do, and you don't get the promotion that you want or the raise that you want, you get insulted. Like, you know what? I work my ass off for you. I embrace your losing culture. I play in New York with your shitty media and your bipolar fan base. I deal with all your nonsense week in and week out while we lose and embarrass ourselves with a coach that's clueless. And now, when my money is due, you don't want to pay me. You want me to wait. Dude, I'd be pissed too. I understand where he's coming from completely. We'd all do the same thing, man. If we were in that situation, we'd all do the same thing. We wouldn't handle it like him. He's handling it so poorly. But we'd do the same shit in a different manner, probably.
If we weren't Jet fans, we would absolutely do the same thing.
Absolutely.
With what this team has done.
Listen, he's earned his contract.
Can you imagine going from LSU? Can you imagine going from LSU to this dumpster fire of a team with a coach that had this team, they quit for 3 games when Sam had mono? I mean, last year was a dumpster fire. They won. They ended the season strong, but dude, it was as bad as it got here. And Jamal's probably like, dude, I went from being king of the castle at LSU to one of the worst teams in the NFL in New York. It can't get any worse than that.
He's embarrassed. I don't blame him.
And I wonder what the Gase factor is, dude. And everybody's going to keep calling me I'm a cynic and I'm this and that. I wouldn't be surprised there's some kind of rift between Gase and Jamal, too, where Gase is like, we ain't paying them. We don't pay safeties. It's like they don't pay running backs. All this other shit he says. I wouldn't be surprised, dude. And sooner or later, somebody will leak the story that that's a problem too, and I won't be surprised. And they're going to hide it and say, oh, it's just the anti-Gase people, because everybody else wants to cover his ass for everything else.
Well, if that's the case, then you're implying that Adam Gase has more control over Joe Douglas.
Exactly.
Dude, would it surprise you? Kevin, would it surprise you?
And that is a serious problem.
What if Gase says, listen, man, he wants a new contract, but he's not one of my guys. He tells Joe Douglas that. What if that happens?
That if I'm Joe Douglas, I tell him, you make it fucking work. He's a top 20 player in football. You make it work. And again, what does Adam Gase have to do with Jamal Adams? I mean, Greg Williams is basically his head coach. That should not be an
issue.
That's why should not be an issue.
I'm just trying to do
his
all
philosophy is, I don't play safeties. That's not good enough.
Absolutely.
You never know,
I
man.
mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter what Gates wants. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Jamal, listen, the fan base will go crazy if you tell me you traded Jamal because Gates didn't like him. You know, I mean, we already have enough problem with Gates not liking Le'Veon Bell, which is still absolutely retarded to me. I still can't get over that. But I mean, I just don't want.
Dude, this is an organization that just fired the trainer, a well-respected trainer. They fired him. Like, come on, man. Like, the guy. Would you put anything by Adam Gase?
That's going to come back to haunt Gase too. He ruffled some feathers with that one with some longtime Jets. That's ballsy on Gase.
I mean, how many former Jets came out and spoke out about it? I saw at least 6 that were like, that's insane. And they didn't have this problem before. Under Pat Bowles, it wasn't a problem.
We never,
you can't put anything by him.
That's how Bowles, but prior to Gates, we never had this kind of injury bug ever. So
and meanwhile, they don't fire his goddamn offensive line coach. The worst offensive football. He kept his staff together. I'm so.
Well, it's hard being a Jet fan. Boy, I just, listening to you guys, man, I'm wondering why the fuck am I still a Jet fan? This is hard, bro. Wow.
But Kevin, I want to thank you again for coming back on, man. I just want to give you some more time to talk about this shit.
Hey, Prime Time, I want to say one thing to you, Prime Time. Hey, Prime, I want to say one thing to you, man. Yo,
yeah, man.
Your takes have been absolutely amazing, bro. Like I said, everything you do, bro, absolutely amazing, man. Your insight, the way your delivery, man, the way you see this team, the way you envision
this team. Now he wants a contract,
the way
too,
you
now.
love this team.
Great.
I appreciate
now,
it, man.
Now
I appreciate
Prime's going to want more money.
Hey, man, listen. If anybody on Let's Talk Jets should get more money, Prime Time ass should get it, bro. Believe that. Flash act, man. Flash act, man.
Thanks for coming on, Prime Time.
Hey, I'll negotiate for you. Hey, Prime Time, I'll negotiate for you. Don't worry about it. I got you, bro.
Appreciate that, man.
Talk to you later. We're gonna bring on Dan real quick. Dan, what's up, man?
Yo, this is some bullshit, dude. This is some complete out of left field. The normal. That's the weird shit. Like, we're supposed to be so used to this. Like, complete. Like, nothing should surprise us. This out of left field. Is this another wave? Is this another part of the wave? First, it's like impeachment, then it's fucking COVID, then all this fucking shit going on. And all of a sudden, Jamal Adams comes out. I want to get traded. I'm not surprised, but it's bullshit because it all stems from the fucking owner. It starts from that guy. How do you hire Gase? You know that guy had that history in Miami. Landry wanted to get out of there. Honestly. Next year, freaking Darnold's going to ask for a trade. You know what I mean? Like the trend is going to continue. Come on.
Oh my God.
So Dan,
it's crazy.
Dan, don't say that, bro.
But think about it, Dan. We've talked about this for 6 months. We knew this was going to happen, though. For 6 months, we talked about this. This is going to get ugly. This is going to get ugly. It finally did. And it's like, I understand that, Jamal took a weirder way of handling this. I don't like the way he handled it all. But I think something is pushing him to this point, whether it's the way Joe Douglas is talking to him, or he doesn't get along with Adam Gase.
Because if you start digging, the money is there. We're cash strapped. Why do we still have winners on the freaking roster? That's $7 million that you can give to.
Yep.
Yeah. For what? You got the money there. No, this is asinine. This is getting from, all right, as soon as you start getting your hopes up, hey, look, we got the offensive line set. Defense is set. At least our defense coordinator's coming back. They played hard for him. And then out of nowhere, we get knocked out. Out of nowhere, we don't see this shit coming.
Hey, Dan, listen. You know what it is? Like Mike Tyson says, everybody want to fight till you get punched in the face, man. Today, I got punched in the face, man. It was a hard one today, man. But Dan, I got to ask you one question. I've been asking
but Tyrone, hold on. Tyrone, the thing is, but Dan, the question we have for you, because I know exactly what Tyrone's going to say. Do you buy this notion that Jamal wants to get traded somewhere else and not get a new contract? I just don't believe that, man. I don't want to believe that.
No way. He wants to get paid, and rightfully so, because there's all rumors next year that the salary cap is going to get dropped. So he wants to cash in now. I would want to get cashed in. You guys would as well. If you know ahead of time, if they tell you, look, the salary cap is going to be going down, it's a difference of making, $8 million more this year than next year. Dude, I'm crying, freaking I'm an all-pro. I'm a freaking Pro Bowler. I'm the best guy on the team. Pay me now. Like, enough is enough. Like, I like what Joe Douglas is doing, but, pay the guy, man. You have all the resources.
And you're not paying nobody. That's the whole reason. You're paying Le'Veon Bell, Mosley. Pay the man. You got 2 more years where you got to pay Sam, man. Pay the man. Listen, I understand where you're coming from, bro. Absolutely. There's no way. Listen, the biggest problem is, man, is that, like you said, the salary cap is going down next year. So you better get your money this year, because if not, the contract's going to be totally different next year.
Completely. Dude, I just don't understand it. Oh, Ashton Davis? Oh, that's the resolution? A rookie that we have no idea how he's going to handle the NFL? Oh, freaking week 1 of the preseason, he's going to blow out his knee. You know what I mean? Like, you have someone stable there, all pro, somebody that we've been waiting for there on that side of the ball since Revis. I mean, when is enough, man? And this is all on, I got to say it, man. It's fucking Gase, man. That's the piece of shit right there. That's the cancer in that locker room. And it's going to only get worse and worse. Sorry for my language, man, but I've had it with this team, how they handle shit. That's your superstar, man. Superstar.
Dude, that's my whole thing. Like, dude, we talked, and me and you personally have talked about this. Keep your homegrown talent. You got to build through the draft. We fucking drafted him. He became an all-pro player. You build your defense around him. He's the heartbeat of your goddamn team. It's just mind-blowing. The fact that we're fucking here now is driving me insane. Because people just want to I'll just ship him off. Fuck him. Trade him. Okay. Another hole in the roster. Another hole in the roster.
So what kind of precedent does that set? What precedent does that set now? So you got rookies coming in, 3 years in there. They're blowing the lids off. Hey, I want to get – I know they're not going to pay me. Right off the bat, they're not even want to get drafted by us. I mean, look at the young kids looking up at Jamal Adams that are on the team right now. Imagine like Mekhi Becton thinking, shoot, all right, you know what, if I can make the Pro Bowl, they're not even going to pay me. So you know what, I'm going to half-ass shit. And that resonates throughout the whole entire locker room.
You said a bad precedent all the way around. Either way, it doesn't look good on both ends. But, hopefully Joe Douglas figures out a way to fix this problem. I mean, because now, even if you give him the contract that he wants, his statement he made today, that's kind of hard to come back from. How do you retract that? How do you come back from that? You give him, you're looking at a $17 million contract, but now you might got to give him 18, 19? That's hard.
You have to.
Hard decision to be made.
I mean, at this point, it's so far in it. Like, it sucks to even think about it. Like, trade scenarios. Does Dallas want him that bad that you say, okay, you know what? Give me CeeDee Lamb a first. Give me CeeDee Lamb, an unproven guy. Again, but that's the thing, Tyrone. He's unproven. And a complete unknown. You know what I mean? Like not for nothing. Him and Mims are the same. The exact same person, the exact same athlete, because they have never played it down in the NFL.
Yep.
I want someone proven. Give me a left tackle then. Give me someone that's a Pro Bowler there and a first-round pick from that offensive line. I said it before when all these rumors were coming up late in the year before the trade deadline. Give me a Tyron Smith. Give me their left guard or something. Give me something with value. 2 of them. Like, Jamal wants to get out of here, I'm going to get my money's worth if that's Joe Douglas's mindset. Again, shouldn't have gotten to that point at all, but you got to blow the lid. Give me a Herschel Walker deal. Give me that. I think that's the only way.
But here's the problem. But here's the problem with that. The problem is Now the entire NFL knows that Jamal wants out, and the Jets have a problem. They have a major problem. So if the Jets want 2 first-rounders, like, listen, I'm not giving you that because you know what? We know he doesn't want to be there. So even the Jets, this could be diminished value there too.
Yeah,
then
but
what?
you sideline him. Like you sideline Jamal, which hurts all parties, which sucks. At that point now it becomes financial, and it hurts the fans as well, dude. Like look at all the shit that we've been through as fans this year. Like our only saving grace is football season, and then all of a sudden this morning Fauci's like, hey, I wouldn't count on it. I'm like, you got to be shitting me, man. Like all of a sudden this guy pops up every freaking 2 months with a freaking bearer of bad news. Now I don't know, and now all of a sudden freaking Jamal wants to get out of here. It's like ridiculous, dude. It's like not for nothing, man. It hit me out of left field. I mean, repaving my freaking patio and shit as the fucking hands are all bleeding. I hear the freaking Sports Center chime. I'm like, oh, what's this? And then I look at that. I freaking just kicked the freaking cement bucket on the floor and just went for a walk, man. I was so happy that you put the show on. Now I got triple the work tomorrow morning.
I'm just angry, man. Like this shit, like it's like he was like one of our own, man. Like you took pride in him, you believed in him, and it's like, and now you could just think of it. If you trade for draft picks that aren't playing this year, it's a step back. You lose him, and like what are you replacing him with? It's like the trickle down of this just gives you a headache.
He fell in our lap, man. Like in the draft, he fell in our lap.
Yep.
But any scenario you trade Jamal for you don't get players this year, you lose. If you waiting for next year, you draft players like Dan said. You don't know who you're going to draft. You don't know what you're getting. You know what I'm saying? But I would listen. I would kick the bucket on CeeDee Lamb for right now. I would do that, even though he's unproven. Because I don't want to wait till next year. I want somebody who's going to help us.
Get
this
Juju
year.
Smith-Schuster, man. I'd rather have Juju. Get a guy that's already done it.
So do I.
Yep. Get a guy that's been there and done that.
Yeah, absolutely. Give me, but like. Blow the lid off. I need something more, so it's something big. It's so dysfunctional, man. It never ends, man. Like, not for nothing. The owners are so inept, man. You have no idea what the hell's going on. Come on, man. Not to kill a dead horse again, but, Gase, that's who we chose? Freaking Mark Rule was like an unknown. Like, freaking let's go with this guy. Robbie would have definitely stayed, man, if we had Matt Rule. Like someone, I don't even know if the guy's going to be even good, but we went for someone that's a failure, like a complete failure. I don't trust Gase at all.
And he's got a track record of doing this shit. He's got a track record of it.
A track record. That's on his resume.
He has Peyton Manning. That's all he can say. I coach Peyton Manning. What else can he say? He sucked in Miami. He sucked with us so far. So
horrible. Like he's an offensive genius, and he didn't know what to do with Luke Falk. Fuck him.
Dan, thanks for calling it, man. We appreciate it.
Yo, fellas, thank you for letting me at least vent a little bit, man, and hope all is well. Be safe out there with all this craziness happening. All right.
You too, man. Have a good night. Thank you.
Good night.
Be safe. God bless.
Tyrone, as we wrap things up here, man, what are your final thoughts, man? I think tomorrow's going to be a long day because you just know there's guys in media writing their articles left and right, just finding ways to make this story even shittier. So what are your final thoughts, man?
I just want to say that, man, I think everyone that called in tonight, thank you for calling, but, everyone has the same opinion. Everyone loves Jamal, and everyone's hurt. And, we're having this team and going through this stuff that we go through with this team. Just tired of being hurt, man. I'm tired of being disappointed. I'm tired of having an organization that just always seems to be in the media for the wrong stuff. So I'm hoping they can fix the situation, but if not, you know what I'm saying? I don't want to say the same old Jets because I really thought we were moving past that, but a situation like this just hurts my feelings. So, at the end of the night, man, it sucks, bro.
Yeah, I'm just, I'm disappointed. I'm angry. I'm frustrated because I thought he's a piece of the puzzle, man. And to lose that piece for unknown commodities drives me insane. And I refuse to give this organization a pass. And that's just because I'm a scorned, angry, diehard Jets fan that's seen this shit too many times before. So I want Chris Johnson, Woody Johnson, and Joe Douglas to prove me wrong. But until they do, I'm not going to believe anything they say. And we'll see what happens. I'm just disappointed. We just talked about this shit on Tuesday, man, about building blocks for the team. Elite playmakers, guys you build this team around, how you make things better, having Jamal Adams be so much better with C.J. Mosley in front of him. all the shit we just talked about is getting wiped away in 2 days. Where now we're like, oh, now we want to trade him. We want to trade him for maybe nobody this year. Then they have a whole. Now it's like, oh, we'll just put Ashton Davis there. We'll just make him a starter, and we're not gonna lose a beat. Like, dude, it gives you a headache. Like, we just can't have nice things. Like, I'm so tired of feeling like this. Like, I just you don't want to have a favorite player anymore because every time you have a favorite player, something happens. It's just, and it's so funny because when the Jets had like Wilkerson, Richardson, Harrison, like, oh, we had this, this defensive line, it's all this. We got to keep all of them. We end up losing all of them. And now it's like, oh, Adams and May, these are our guys. I think they'll both be gone by next year. Think about that. Adams and May could both be gone next year. What many people are calling one of the best, top 10 safety groups in the NFL. Could both be gone next year. Like, fucking, gee, I'm just so tired of this team. God.
It's been life of a Jet fan, bro. It sucks. It hurts.
Think about that, though. Think about it. The two safeties that we all touted, the guys that we loved and made all these cases where they could both be gone next year. Ain't that some shit?
That's some shit, bro. That's absolutely some shit. This is what we got to go through.
This is just something, man. I still can't believe we're here. I mean, we predicted it. I had a feeling it was going to get to this point a little bit faster, a little uglier than I thought it was going to be. But god damn, man, my phone was going off. I was like, and there's Bills fans, Giants fans, I'm just like, why? Why can't it be good news for once? Like, why couldn't they announce a new contract for him today? Hey, 5 years, $75 million, we're done, or whatever,
In-crowd show is never good when you're a Jets fan.
In-crowd shows are never good. We have technical difficulties. We miss phone callers. We do all kinds of shit. We offended Steve with our cursing. We did it all, man.
Yeah, what a night! What a night!
Well, first off, Tyrone, give out all your information, man, because I want to thank you so much. This has been we've had a blast with this shit, man. This has been nuts.
I had a good time. And thank you for having me on. You can follow me at TIP EZY on Facebook, Johnson. You can find me at TIP _90 EZY91 on Instagram and Tyrone Johnson 54 on Twitter. And I hope you guys understand that I love you guys. I love the Jets. I love you, Jamal, if you're listening. But, woo, it's going to be a rough week, boy. A rough week.
Tyrone, thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
All right, thanks. Have a good one, bro.
You too. Want to thank everybody that called in tonight. I know we missed a lot of people. A lot of callers we didn't get on, so I completely apologize for that. I had a little technical issue 20 minutes in, and I'm not really sure how to handle all this stuff with this microphone and everything else. So apologize. We're back Tuesday, maybe sooner if something else happens with this chaos team. At Talk Jets Radio on Instagram and Twitter. Let's Talk Jets Radio on YouTube. And what a show this has been. Thank you for your patience, and we'll talk to you next time.